ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Matthews.
Kevin Matthews.
Every Thursday night. You ask the questions, DT gives you his answers. No holds barred.
It's Q&A with Don-Tony. This is your chance to speak your mind and be heard about anything.
Q&A with Don-Tony. And now, your host, Don-Tony.
I fucked up. I keep forgetting to take that old clip and put it away. Now it's officially gone. So we won't have, but we do have some vintage video today. Retro Don-Tony, first time ever seen online. A lot of you over the years have always asked me, DT, what is the story behind that picture? That is the first ever appearance I did on video, on camera. There was an existing storyline with Louie back in USA Pro Wrestling at that time, but I was never on camera. The one time before this, I was supposed to do New Jack in the Box, and I know a lot of you out there have been asking for growing up Don-Tony stories, so we'll share a few tonight. I'll explain New Jack in the Box that was all screwed up, and you will see this footage that led to that picture. The first time ever on camera, untrained, should have gone to wrestling school first. You know, you be the judge of how bad it was. I mean, give me a little credit that in 2007, I finally went to wrestling school, went for almost a year, and, you know, did a little indie stuff for 5-6 years. I didn't realize it was that long until I was going and looking at DVDs. I'm like, wait a minute. I started doing this in 2006, and I stopped in 2011. 5 years? Unbelievable. I must have really buried that back deep in my head. But before I do anything, I did this on Twitter just as a joke. And I got a lot of laughs out of it, so I wanted to show it to you. Now, you will see video later on. In fact, yeah, that's another screenshot from that day. That's another screenshot. First time I ever did video. I swear to you, I have not watched this footage since it happened. I played about 30 seconds earlier just to make sure that the audio and the video was in sync. I'll share with you a funny clip in a second. Before I do anything, we're going to take calls almost immediately tonight. I definitely want to finish this a little bit earlier. Last night we ended up late, but we had a great time in the process. So tonight, Q&A. We'll talk a little bit about the AEW rating. We'll announce the winner of last night's contest because there is a winner. Very, very cool. And I have 20 minutes of, I don't know if you call it, I don't think you could call this indie wrestle crap. Yes, my stuff is wrestle crap. But you will actually see yours truly bring out and I guess sort of manage Abdullah the Butcher. First time ever on camera. And I have Abdullah the Butcher on my plate. I promise you, when I tell you the story later, some of you that have been with me for 15 years already know the story. But when I show you the video, you're going to realize that from 15 years ago to now, the version I gave you was 1,000% accurate. It's a pretty funny story. Somebody I was supposed to manage that night ran out of the building, afraid. He got cold feet. I swear to God. Oh, we'll have fun, man. We'll have fun. By the way, before I show you that video and everything else, how's everybody doing tonight? Much love. Best wishes go out to Matt Hardy. We talked about it last night. Orange Cassidy, he is so lucky that he didn't do that dive off the top rope with his hands in his pockets, because everybody would have blamed the hands in the pockets for overshooting Matt Hardy, and this is the effect. Yeah, remember I said that I had a feeling his nose was going to be similar to John Cena's that time? Yeah. Well, how does LA Knight say it? Yeah, whatever. Matt Hardy's nose is really messed up right now. Give the man credit. He is a professional through and through. I'm sure, honestly, Orange Cassidy must have felt awful after this match. And Matt Hardy, being the consummate professional that he is, shit happens. Things happen, But best wishes go out to Matt Hardy. Absolutely. I forgot to share with you something yesterday. I think you get a good laugh out of it. I'm drinking coffee, by the way. Very, very light coffee, because I really need to get a good night's sleep tonight. Starting to get that rundown feeling again. Did not sleep that great all week. So tonight, I definitely would like to have a really tight and fun show. We have 2 contests tonight. Remember, we got to give away the T-shirt and the gift card from last Thursday's show. If anybody, I shouldn't be doing this, but if anybody was unable to tune in last Thursday and you still want to be part of tonight's contest, all you have to do is last Thursday's Q&A, post a comment, because I will run the randomizer in a few minutes, and it's going to randomly pick someone's comment from that episode. So I'll give you a chance if you want to go post. Say whatever you want. Just remember, I have your shipping address. I've been giving away shit for 24 years, almost 25 years. Everybody trusts me. My word is my bond, and I value everybody's privacy. In fact, some of you out there have won multiple prizes. You're like, DT, keep my address, because I always email them for an address. I'm like, no. As soon as I get the information, I delete it. I do not want anybody's personal information on my computer. I have the utmost security. I've never been hacked. These people who claim to be hacked, they got to be the biggest morons out there, or they're clicking on a lot of porn they're not supposed to, or they're lying. Because getting hacked in or you're just a moron and you use a password as password. How does somebody use the word password as password? I mean, are you that dense and stupid? But I wanted to share this yesterday. I think you'll get a good laugh out of this. Now, it is off-centered on purpose. That is a pay-per-view poster. That is a pay-per-view poster for All Out. Paul White. There you go, password. I know that's off-centered also, because I have this certain chat box for that to fit with. But check this out, everybody. Got Paul White versus QT Marshall at AEW All Out. And I'm looking at that poster. I'm like, wow, that looks awfully familiar. I don't know. There's something about that poster that looks awfully familiar, especially QT Marshall with his fist under his neck. And I was thinking. And I figured it out. Coincidence? Look at the back of Paul White's shoulder. I know it's gray. Look at the back of John Cena's shoulder. Look at the fist under the neck. I don't know. Did they copy Once in a Lifetime Paul White versus who dat? Yeah, I think sometimes I kind of like saying to myself, DT, it's kind of weird that you can remember things like that. Look, I'm a fan of Paul White. All Out's card is shaping up to be a real solid one. So what? Paul White and QT Marshall have a 5-minute match. Seriously. We're going to have an awesome pay-per-view. There's going to be some incredible matches on that card. So what? And I know it sounds like I'm lightening up a little bit on QT Marshall. And no, not really. I don't particularly, care about his stuff. I'm indifferent to it. I don't dislike the guy. If I ever saw him, I'd shake his hand. I admire all the hard work that he does behind the scenes for AEW. But, I mean, it's pretty obvious, that, people and friends get, a little bit higher position than they should. And you see loads of AEW fans saying the same thing. In fact, I saw QT Marshall get into a little back and forth on Twitter today about that. And the only comeback he can make, everybody was like, oh, the show is Cody and his friends. All his friends get a televised opportunity, on the main show, I might add. And who that responds with, yeah, sign Paul White, spend that kind of money and not use him on a pay-per-view. Oh, I get it. So you overpay or you pay big money for name value as an excuse to put your ass on the fucking card. Hey, at the end of the day, he's got the power. He's got the power. QT Marshall's got the power. He can do it. Tony Khan is fine with it. Everybody else in AEW is fine with it. So, worst case scenario, potty break, pee-pee break. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Who that? Shout out to Dennis Slusher II, son of Dennis Slusher I. Much love, my friends. Look, I have no malice. I think people have realized that now. And I think after doing a little more than a year of video, year and a half, and, obviously the show's changing. I think it was a year ago yesterday that the show's changed to a different direction. People see the authenticity. I mean, I'm not perfect, not by a long shot. I'm not controversial. I don't take the clickbait and just, it's obvious. Misery loves company. Everybody wants a reason to curse something out and shit on something, even if it's not true. Look at the Triple H stuff with NXT. Look at all that stuff. I mean, you just see people, how many times lie, and getting hundreds of thousands of views. I don't want that kind of power. I'd rather have a very intimate audience, and we know the truth of what's going on, the truth. And we know how the sausage is made, and we know what's going on. You and I figured out Nick Khan and everything with NXT a long time ago. Everybody figured out a couple other things. And look, the AEW rating, let's talk about it. 1,129,000. Very good number. Now, people, and I can't remember who said it a couple of days ago, but that one post, that one comment that somebody wrote on YouTube just sticks in my head now, that we have to remember that a lot of the podcasters out there and a lot of the people with some power behind their voice, they may be wrestling fans, but they're not business persons. And it's true. You actually look at a lot of the people who make those naive comments, whether it's intentionally lying or just stupidity, take a look at their employment. And I'm not making fun of them, but I think that is a very important thing to look at. When you have someone doing podcasts and you look at their employment, and their employment is serving my latte, no sweetener, please, keto, or podcasting 24/7, 365, that's their only job. And I'm not criticizing that. If somebody could make a career out of this, much love, seriously, all the power to them. But don't try to play off that you understand the business sense. These PC comments that's been going on for 19 months, that you shouldn't fire people during COVID. I still think back at Chevy Chase, National Lampoon's Vacation. Did COVID break out during Christmas? No. People get cut because they get cut for various reasons. Did you see Tony Khan's interview today? If what we've been telling you about Nick Khan for 3 months wasn't enough, Tony Khan himself today made a remark that I have said 1,000 times on this show. Budget cuts. We talked about it last night. Budget cuts. So many people out there think when you hear the term budget cuts, that means money problems. Why is WWE citing budget cuts and they have record profits? That should tell you right there, they know nothing about business. Budget cuts are not just for financial problems. I've been saying forever, to quote Terry Funk, forever, that if WWE is making $50 million in profit, they want $100 million in profit. I've been saying 1,000 times, Nick Khan came in there. Why do we need 150 wrestlers, 200 wrestlers, when we can do the same thing with half? And that's what's going on. Removing the bloat. Why are you going to pay Adam Cole $500,000 or whatever it is to be in a developmental territory? But he doesn't want to travel in the full-time schedule. Well, then he leaves. Bye-bye. Tony Khan today said in an interview about WWE's releases, he said that WWE is going for a number as far as how many people they want to keep on their payroll. They're trying to maximize profits. Tony Khan today did not criticize WWE for what they were doing. He doesn't agree with it, but he understands it. Gee, how many times do we make that phrase on this show? I'm not a multimillionaire, so I can't back it up. But I've been in the business financial world for 25 years, investing a portfolio, doing business with corporate, understanding the deal. You have to separate the feel-good tweets and the reality of this world. And you got all these people that write all the emotional stuff because everybody jumps at it. You look at Dan Lambert's promo on Dynamite yesterday. Dan Lambert, they doing it as a character to get away with it. Because if anybody in AEW is throwing out that stuff on social media and ripping people saying they're not man enough, they'd be fired in a second. So they get away with it by creating a character. But we do have a problem with snowflakes. We have a problem with some very, very, very sensitive, soft people. Do you know? And we'll announce the winner of last night's contest in a second. You know, I watched a video yesterday on YouTube. If anybody wants to see it, I'll post a link later tonight. It's a guy. And if you search it, you'll find it. It's got facial hair, some tattoos, and I have nothing against that. The only reason why I'm describing it is because if you search it and you find more than one video, this is the person you want to seek out. And the video is why I quit Amazon after 4 days. I was very curious because if I don't land this gig working part-time for a wrestling company soon, I might seriously consider working for an Amazon fulfillment center as a part-time job on the weekends because I'm getting married next year and I have to put some serious money aside. So I wanted to see this video. I wanted to see why this guy quit after 4 days. I expected controversy. The guy starts off with the video, and I'm not going to get into everything, but you'll see my point in 2 seconds. He gets into the video. He's newly married, and his wife works from home, remote. That's what my fiance is doing right now. Okay. She works during the day. So he decided he was going to do the overnight shift, getting paid $25, $30 an hour, working overnight. Something like 10:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. 10:30 p.m., I think, to 5:30 a.m., something like that. And he said that within a day, they changed his hour by half an hour. So now instead of 10:30 to 5:30, it was like 11 to 6. He says he goes home and the sun is coming up and he goes to take a shower and he wakes his wife up. And I'm saying to myself, You dumb moron. I have to be a little censored here. You dumb moron. You dumb fuck. That's not the word I wanted to go for, but you dumb moron. You do a late night overnight shift, the graveyard shift. You don't think you were going to wake up your wife? Whether it's 5:30, 6 a.m., 4:45, 6:17. That's first thing. Then he says that his job is to pick items, and a robot comes over with a cart, and he's got to put the items in the cart, and he's got to do one every 15 seconds. And he says that sometimes he picks up small items, and the robot brings a big cart. This guy made a fucking YouTube video why he quit YouTube in 4 days. Because COVID, a lot of the areas are blocked off by plastic. He's got to wear a mask when he's around people. I'm watching this 20, 30 minutes in. I expected him to say that some guy or some girl, you know, in like teaching him, you know, the seminar or just welcome to Amazon, lifted their legs up in the air and they said, hey, go pick, you know, go play with my fulfillment center. I thought this guy was going to claim he was racially profiled or made fun of because of his tattoos, because he came home at 6 a.m. instead of 5:30, because the robot brings a different size crate, because there's plastic blocking off areas, because he's lonely and there's nothing much going on. We have a fucking trillion of pussies out there. And anybody that goes back with me 15 years remembers me in the mid-2000s using the phrase, the pussification of America. You're seeing people here on YouTube getting hundreds of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of views, and all they do is bitch, complain about things they have no business complaining. You sign up for 30 fucking, the best part, and if you seek out the video, this is the best part of it all. I don't know why they call it a fulfillment center. It's a warehouse. Seriously, I want to punch that guy in the mouth. I swear to God, I just want to punch him in the mouth. I won't give into it. I won't give into it. We have so many problems going on in this world. That's why my main concern is to just smile, have fun, share some memories, have some conversations, spend time with my family, my friends, my significant other, and that's it. That's it. That's my plan until I drop. I'm not joking. That's my plan. I don't give a shit about politics anymore. I don't give a shit about what's going on. I worry about me and my inner circle. Spare me your crying. You got to go seek that video out. I promise you. You almost want to give this guy like a baby bottle with a nipple on it. Cherry flavored nipple. What a fucking sissy ass just snowflake. Man. So anyway, wanted to share this with you just as a joke. I posted this 1 minute clip. Oh no, that's the screenshot. Where's the clip? Here it is. That's too small. I posted a 1 minute clip on Twitter. I purposely took the audio out. You can't hear nothing. As you watch this, just try to envision what is being said. Right? Look at that phone. Look at that phone. That phone's like the size of some people's dicks. Look at the size of that phone. I had that phone in 2005. That son of a bitch threw it on the floor. Honestly, it was a promo, but when he threw it on the floor, the back of my mind was, oh, please, I hope it didn't break. And a bunch of you out there were asking me, hey, DT, what kind of phone was that? Well, here you go. That came out in 2005. You can't really see it, but it's thick. It's like a deck of cards. It's about the size of a deck of cards, maybe even a little bit smaller. That was the first, I think, Windows phone or something like that. That came out in 2005. The phone sold for about $600. And the reason why I got it was because it had a little keyboard built in. It was actually a pretty cool phone at that time. I don't think it was touchscreen. I don't remember if it was touchscreen. But yeah, that was my pocket PC. I played with my pocket PC. So I posted this earlier. Just see if you could figure out what is being said here. Just look at it. Like, could you all right, I'm on the phone. Hey, he said, hey, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm on the fucking phone. What's your problem? I'm like, now, yeah, I thought I was a tough guy here. Now watch. I purposely, like, so you can try to guess what I'm saying. Excuse me for a minute. Excuse me. Fuck the phone. Then he scares the shit out of me. Well, first, see, when I say I always talk with my hands, I don't do it on the show because I'm sitting at a desk. But if you watch this, you'll see me going like this and like this. See? That's how I talk. I always talk with my hands. I like it. It's like being assertive. When you talk, you go like this. See? Yeah, until you pull. That was a good shirt, too. That was lavender, by the way. That was a lavender shirt. Okay. Now I'm a little concerned. Now you're scaring the shit out of me. Yeah, you're scaring me. Now we go fade to black. So, yeah, you will actually see what was said in a few minutes. But before we do that, let's get into why you're here also. Last night we did a contest. Guess the AEW rating from yesterday. I didn't talk about the rating yet. 1,129,000. Let me announce the winner first, and then I'll tell you my thoughts about the rating. Chris! Congrats to Chris L. And he is a channel member, so I know how to seek him out. He won. The actual rating was 1,172,000. He had 1,153,900. Remember I said yesterday, add those couple extra digits. You never know. Somebody else came up with 1,153,000. So he got it. He was the closest with the rating. I thought it was going to be 1.3 million. I was off about 130,000. So congrats to Chris. I will post it in the community section later on. I don't know if he's here tonight. Maybe he shows up later. But I will announce it tomorrow also on the show too. By the way, tomorrow we are going to do a Rampage watch-along. I think it's okay. We'll close out August doing it. And then we'll decide next week if we were going to continue doing watch-alongs. Remember, I want to move Friday show to Saturdays. So many people have Friday night shows. And a lot of you go out on a Friday night. So a lot of you have been asking for, maybe a little weekend show and earlier. We do it 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday or 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm done by 7 or 8, depending on what time we start. I have the whole night still ahead of me. Doing this late at night every day, it gets hard because I got to get up at 6:30 every morning. So that will be pleasant. But I said I would be more than happy to do a Rampage watch-along on Fridays, for the foreseeable future because it's only an hour long. So I'm guaranteed to be off the air by 11-ish. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm frozen because you were looking at a screenshot of who won the contest. Yeah, you were looking at a screenshot of who won the contest. See? The pork rub shirt should have gave it away. Yesterday was pork rub. Today is butt munch. My apologies for my audio-only family hearing me sip. I'm having a little coffee. I needed to perk up a little bit tonight. A little tired. So it's all about the rating. Okay. I grew up during the Monday Night Wars. I started my wrestling hotline in 1997. One of the things that I always looked forward to on a Tuesday was the afternoon numbers would come out for Raw and Nitro. And I would do my hotline Tuesday night, and I would say, the rating, this is exactly the ratings. WWF Raw, hour 1, 2.6, hour 2, 2.9 for a composite of a 2.75. Nitro, hour 1, 3.3. Hour 2, 3.7 for a composite of a 3.5. Nitro beats Raw, 3.5 to 2.7.5. By 1999, 2000, the ratings were like 6s and 7s. It was crazy at that time. The difference between then and now is because whether you were a hardcore Nitro fan or a hardcore WWF fan or in the middle, at the end of the day, everybody bragged how cool wrestling was. You didn't have, whether it was Prodigy chats, forums, you didn't have even, I don't even think MySpace was around at that time. You had no Twitter, you had no Facebook, you had no MySpace. You had chats, AOL chats, message boards, forums. You go back and you look at the ones that kept their records online, or you do a Wayback Machine. You don't have this hatred right now. It's toxic, but it's not just wrestling. It's politics. It's Karens. It's white privilege, black privilege, blue privilege, Asian privilege. There's a topic for everything. You complain about something, that's it. You're in a group. It's just, it's terrible. Back then, when everybody would be like, oh, did you watch Raw last? No, I love Nitro. Did you watch Nitro? No. Raw is war. At the end of the day, everybody bragged how awesome wrestling was, that it was getting crazy-ass ratings on the cover of TV Guide. And it was so popular, they had to do 4 or 5 different special covers. And then you had video game covers that were doing pictures, even when video games weren't coming out. People bragged about how big wrestling was at that time. These days, toxic. People that lie to you, that tell you, oh, no, we're all wrestling fans. At the end of the day, we're just wrestling fans. We're just having a little bit of laughs with each other. Until Jericho has to come out without his entrance music. And because the crowd serenades him with Judas, everybody is a whack job. People crying about CM Punk, emotional. And you had all these people writing all this shit until it's like the opposite of cancel culture. Once they realize, uh-oh, I better not joke about this, suddenly everybody gave a fuck about that fan. Good camera work, by the way. A lot of other people, they're crying too. But AEW chose to choose that guy and give that guy credit, man. Everybody wanted to reach out to him and give him gifts. And he said, I don't want fame. He's going to meet CM Punk, and he got free tickets for another AEW show. He doesn't want attention. He's just a wrestling fan. I fucking love that guy. I'll never meet him. I don't think he'll ever tune into my shows. I love people like that. Enjoy yourself. That's my message all the time. Enjoy yourself. Stay away from those people. It's tempting because a lot of attention to it. So my thoughts on the rating, simple. Talked about this on Friday. When we predicted Friday's Rampage rating, we didn't, when we were trying to figure out what it was going to be, I said that a lot of AEW fans were already CM Punk fans. And I said that, and people remember this, I'm almost tempted to get the clip for next week. I said that AEW, up until 2 weeks ago, had 1.1 million viewers. I think I even said it yesterday, that 2 weeks ago, they had 1.1 million viewers. And what Rampage rating from Friday, compared to the week before that did 740, was that a lot more AEW fans that didn't watch Rampage the week before tuned in to Rampage on Friday. You had some WWE fans that wanted to see what was going to happen with CM Punk, no question. But as far as wrestling fans who fell out of love for wrestling, I know I'm repeating something I said yesterday. You think of Impact Wrestling, New Japan, AEW, NXT, WWE, Ring of Honor, MLW, GCW, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. You mean to tell me that out of all that wrestling that's out there, Dennis Slusher still can get over than Amazon guys? We think the same. All the PC stuff, people cry out. It's terrible, man. But we saw this coming 15 years ago. I'm not the only one. A lot of people saw that. Brandon Foley, welcome back, my friend. I never took you off the list. I was a little lazy, but I knew you'd come. Much love, my friend. Much love. You know, a lot of people saw that coming 15 years ago, and it's so bad right now. But getting back to the AEW rating, if you can't find something about wrestling out of all those promotions right now, you ain't coming back, because CM Punk, at his age now, top 5 heel turn, I'll get into that in a moment, Edward. CM Punk coming back now, you know, he's been around MMA. And here's the thing I think people didn't understand about the ratings, because I said on Friday that Wednesday's rating is going to really be the telltale sign of how many new viewers you are getting because of CM Punk. CM Punk coming in, I know this is going to sound stupid, but it makes total sense. CM Punk coming in, who is he going to fight? AEW wrestlers. Kenny Omega, maybe Hangman Page, Darby Allin, who knows? So if those wrestlers didn't tickle your fancy before, and you didn't watch AEW because of those guys, why would you suddenly watch it because they're facing CM Punk? The promotion is still the same. The people running it is still the same. The politics is still the same. The people being featured, the only difference that's happening now is by adding more people to the roster without subtracting, the factions will be bigger. The Dark Order will have 11 members soon. And Matt Hardy's group, they'll probably add 4 or 5 more people. And best friends will be, best groups. That's what's happening. The Elite, they have to put Nakazawa out there. They got to put Brandon Cutler out there because they're characters. Somebody's holding a spray bottle. So when you really take a step back and you think about it, there's so much great things going on in wrestling right now that if that couldn't get you back with what makes you think people are going to come back because a much older CM Punk is going to come in and wrestle people that you don't like anyway? I think once Daniel Bryan comes in, if some others sign, the women's division gets stronger because, look, you got to understand this too. And AEW really misses the boat about this. Women's wrestling is extremely popular these days. I still don't think it's on the level of male wrestling. And you look at everybody's shows and that kind of proves it when you see it. Just add up the number of minutes of women's wrestling on a card and the men's. And WWE sometimes tries to balance it out just to balance it out. Not because they're at the top of their game and they deserve the time. No, they just balance it out to balance it out. But, we've had this women's revolution now for quite some time. And we have awesome people here. Shout out to Rye Baker, my friend. I'll answer yours because these top 5s have to do a little thinking, especially without preparation. I'll answer both in 2 minutes. I just want to finish the ratings comment. But, you got women who are now veterans like Mickie James and, Serena Deeb. You got Camille, who's kicking ass in NWA. You got Thunder Rosa. I mean, you have some excellent women's wrestling out there. The one thing that bothered me about the NWA women's pay-per-view, and I said it once before, and I really backed off on it because I wanted to see how it was going to progress up until now. But, at the end of the day, business is business. And yes, they're doing an all-women's pay-per-view, and it's going to be excellent. And a lot of the card is very, very strong. But when they portrayed it that the doors are open, my God, there are so many women in indie wrestling right now that are decent. I don't like to knock anybody that does dark matches because they're learning their craft. But there are quite a few women out there that actually are above dark match quality, that are better. You gotta, if you paid attention to it, you know exactly what I'm going to say. And if you haven't paid attention to it and you seek it out, you'll notice it. You had droves of women all across the United States, especially, because I didn't think NWA was going to bring in a lot of international talent. It's very costly. You had tons of women across the United States that kept hashtagging NWA, that kept hashtagging Mickie James, that kept hashtagging other women. You know, I'd love to come. I'd love to come. I'd love to come. Now, honestly, you can't obviously hire everybody. But you know what I would have done? For every women wrestler out there that cared that much that they wanted to come, even if they were willing to pay their way to get there, you know what I would have said? Look, it's going to be difficult to put you on the card, but we'd love to have a section in the audience of the women of today. And maybe even do a little segment where everybody, you don't announce every single person, it'd take 3 hours, but you have everybody just in the ring like, this is the future of women's wrestling. And you saw people hashtagging people like every other day, never got a response. Never even said, send us what you could do. A lot of people. So, shout out to Tyree Jones, my friend. Much love. I'll answer your question in a moment. So, women's wrestling has obviously gone to another level. And if you look at like AEW, you don't really see it pushed. And as I touched on slightly yesterday, now you look back at everybody gets equal pay scale, how ridiculously stupid that is. Because and I used Andrade as an example yesterday. If you're going to pay people based on it, Andrade should be making $6 an hour right now. He's wrestled one match. By the time the pay-per-view comes, he's had one match in 12 weeks. So you look at the women's wrestling in AEW, and it's a mess. It's a mess. But because people out there, because Tony Khan is such a giving person, and because, people aren't stupid, everyone. And I know a lot of you out there aren't stupid either. You see that people in the back have a lot of their friends working in that company, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera. Some people that I used to work with in indie wrestling are very important people behind the scenes. And what do you see right now online? You see a lot of people out there like literally gushing over everything about Tony Khan because all they need is that one foot in the door. And Tony Khan you have a much better chance of possibly getting to do a little something with Tony Khan, especially if they come to your state, than you would with WWE or another promotion. And you got to see, like I said yesterday, when Tony Khan says last week, we want to, hopefully we get some new fans out there, some fans that fell out of love with wrestling. We want to, give people, this is a game changer and we want to showcase this and that. And yesterday, the first Dynamite with CM Punk, that now, like as I said yesterday, everybody should have had their suit on, dressed perfectly, not literally, but yesterday they should have made that like pay-per-view quality. A lot more eyes are going to be on that product. A lot of people curious. A lot of WWE fans. There's 1 million plus people that still are not watching AEW to watch WWE. We got to show them the best of AEW. Because that first Dynamite of CM Punk, that's going to get some extra eyes. You main event Malachi Black with Brock Anderson. And 95% of the people out there yesterday didn't have the balls to call that out. So when you see the Juan Juarez Baldezon, welcome, my friend. Welcome to the channel. You see that yesterday? You know, the Gun Club versus the Factory. I don't care if that's on once in a while, but the first CM Punk appearance on Dynamite, you don't think that everybody and their mother who works in the back, I want to be part of history. I want to be part of the first Dynamite that CM Punk is on. Book me, book me, book me. Put me in a match. Put me on TV. Just let me do something. Let me spray air. Let me spray fart spray. Let me spray cold spray. Just put me out there. Just give me a spot. Let me do something. Anything, please. I'll pick up the garbage. That's what it felt like yesterday. It felt so deliberate that they put WWE guys, former WWE guys, with AEW guys all throughout the night. So you have recognizable faces with some names that are not as well known. That's what they did the whole night yesterday. So that rating, 1,172,000, it's a very good number. But I will repeat what I said last week. A lot of CM Punk fans were already AEW fans. They were already AEW fans. They were anticipating his debut. They want to see him take on Hangman Page. They want to see him take on Kenny Omega. They want to see him take on Darby Allin. They want to see him take on other people in AEW. So if you want to see CM Punk face all those people, then you obviously like those people, because why would you give a shit if CM Punk is facing people you don't like, right? So anybody that thought they were going to do 2 million viewers, you know, off of him debuting is ridiculous. You have to build on this. It's not going to happen overnight. AEW, by the end of the year, could very well end up averaging 1.5 million viewers. But just understand that if you bring in another person, you bring in another person, you bring in this, someone else is going to be put aside. And, you know, sooner or later, Tony Khan is going to have to issue those pink slips. That's why I go back to the interview that Tony Khan did talking about WWE releases today. Tony Khan is a very smart man. Very smart man. He did not rip WWE because he knows one day down the line, he's got to start cutting people, because why would you have 100 wrestlers in AEW? You know, when you start thinking about it, you can't have every faction with 10 people in it. So Tony Khan, when he issues the pink slips, he doesn't have to worry about people saying, oh, do you remember this interview, Tony? Do you remember what you said about WWE? You remember when you criticized him? You're doing the very same thing. People can't do that. He was very smart with what he said today, because trust me, Tony Khan, Shad Khan, the management in Jacksonville Jaguars, you think football players on the Jaguars, because of COVID and they had tryout camp, look, you know, unfortunately, you're not good enough to make the team, but, you know, you could like sit like in the faction in the back and cheer us on, and, you know, we won't let you go. You know, they got cut. They got cut. They're not going to keep 20, 30, 40, 50 extra employees because it's the right thing to do. It's all about perception, and people are gullible. They fall for it. That's why the Max Caster thing, Tony Khan once again got away with it. So the rating yesterday doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. It's not a disappointment. Some people out there that didn't really, truly, you know, dissect, you know, the AEW fan base and what actually was changing, you know, those are the people that, you know, were hoping a much bigger number. But realistically, I said 1.3 million. I wasn't that far off, but, you know, some people think at 1.8, 2.0, anything under 1.7 is a disaster. You know, that's ridiculous. The rating was 1,172,000, Xander. 1,172,000. And once again, congratulations to, where is he? Chris, who won yesterday's contest. So I will get in touch with Chris, and I will send him his CM Punk AEW t-shirt that he is entitled to, and the ice cream wrapper. Very cool. Okay. Let's get into a couple of super chats. Then we'll take some calls, do some retro video, and no particular order. Yeah, shout out to you, Dennis. It's ridiculous. If you want to be entertained for all the wrong reasons, go watch that Amazon video. And if anybody can't find the link, just let me know in the comment section later. In fact, I'll post it anyway later. So about half hour after the show's over, you'll see a comment in the comment section with that link for the Amazon. Edward Harris, top 5 heel turns in pro wrestling. Wow. I've been a fan since 79. So spur in a moment, trying to figure out 42 years of wrestling, best heel turns. Well, I'll tell you a couple that come to mind right away. Bob Backlund. I grew up a WWF fan, and I was a big fan of Bob Backlund. I never in a million years ever thought that Bob Backlund would turn heel and be so epic with his character change. When Bob Backlund turned on Bret Hart, that match, I think it was WWF Superstars, is where they did it. That was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, it happened on TV, but they teased the first one with Superstars after he lost. They had like a half an hour match. It's one of my favorite matches of all time from, I think, Superstars it was. But Bob Backlund's heel turn was epic. Hogan joining the NWO. Hogan was starting to get less pop from the crowd. People a little bit sick of the Hulkamania stuff by the, mid-90s. So Hogan turning, but the funny thing about Hogan is, people liked him even more when he turned heel. So him turning and joining the New World Order was pretty awesome. Other heel turns. Steve Austin's heel turn, even though I didn't like it, but that was very interesting at the time because he was such, a huge baby face when 2001, when he joined the Alliance. That was pretty wild. Trying to think who else. Barry Windham joining the Horsemen was fun, but, it's not like one of my ultimates. Okay, Paul Orndorff turning on Hogan, the ultimate betrayal. That was awesome. So that's 4. So one more. Man, I know we all saw it coming. And look, this is not my official top 5 list. I'm just throwing 5 out that I remember. When Jake the Snake Roberts turned on the Ultimate Warrior. I trust you, Snake Man. I mean, when he locked him in that room, I did a spoof, and it sounded like a sex film with Jake Roberts and the Ultimate Warrior. That was epic, man. Jake Roberts was just in a league of his own. I loved his psychology. That's badass. When he turned on Warrior, and then when Warrior collapses and he looks up and it's The Undertaker and Paul Bearer going like this. That was epic, man. That was epic. So there's 5 for you. I probably could come up with 20 if I thought about it a little bit more, but those are 5 of some of my favorites. Terry Funk turning on Ric Flair, 1989. That was awesome. I love that shit, man. He pile drove him on the table outside the ring. Incredible, man. Top 5 wrestlers of 2021 based on where we are in August. Roman Reigns definitely up there. Late last year, I said Kenny Omega, his goal is to be the wrestler of the year of 2021. But I got to be honest with you. I know people are going to still likely choose him because of all the belts that he wore, but they're not going to break down how many matches he actually had, which is not that impressive. But then again, we're in COVID, so. Botch Club wanted me to give a big shout out to his family, the Wrestle Daily on Instagram. And he is tuning in from Providence, Rhode Island. Much love, my friend. See, I don't like doing that because I did that once. It's just like, shout out to you. But if I do it too fast, it's like, and I'm not into that. And I'm not even saying what I'm talking. I think people figured it out. Much love, Botch Club. Top 5 wrestlers 2021. Top 5. Wow. You actually break this down. And look, I don't like to include wrestlers from Japan because so many people do not tune into New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's the only reason why I leave that out. But if you said really top 5 wrestlers, I know some people are going to hate one of my choices. I'll save that number 5 for last. But Roman Reigns is obviously on that list. Man, I wish Eddie Kingston would have had some more matches and would have had some more championship victories. I would have seriously considered putting Eddie Kingston on that list. Jon Moxley, we didn't really get into it yesterday, but he's going to face Satoshi Kojima at All Out. Satoshi Kojima is going to be 51 in a couple of weeks. And it just seems like Moxley, they have just really gone to a standstill with. Boy, that's a lot tougher when you think about it. I think Riddle has had a decent number of losses this year also. Big E has had a decent year. But Big E, I think he has to win the heavyweight championship before the end of 2021 to be considered, in the top 10. I don't put Lashley on the list because the last couple of months, you look at his feuds, Drew McIntyre, which was okay, Kofi, and Bill Goldberg. And now they're doing a smorgasbord. It just feels like Lashley is not living up to it. Nick Aldis has not had enough matches. I almost want to put somebody from Impact Wrestling in there. I wish Edge would have had a few more matches. I tell you, this is a weird year when you actually start breaking it down. I would put Thunder Rosa in the top 5 as far as women go. I mean, when we say top 5, we don't have to just include men. We could go women too. I would put Thunder Rosa. I think Britt Baker has had a very good year, but Britt Baker doesn't knock it out of the park with wrestling ability. Just because she is uber popular and she's improved significantly doesn't make her a top 5 wrestler. I'm putting Charlotte on the list. That was the one I was holding out on. Charlotte. I know a lot of people can't stand her, but she is at the top of her game, whether people like it or not. She wrestles awesome. She does crazy-ass moves inside the ring, outside the ring. She's got a presence about her. Yes, being a Flair helps, but she's got a presence about her. She commands attention, and the room stops to look and see what she has to say. I put Charlotte on that list. Deonna Purrazzo has had a decent year as far as women's wrestling goes. Absolutely. It's a shame that Io Shirai has almost come to a standstill. I don't know if I would put Raquel Gonzalez in there. I mean, she's had a decent year too, but, the feuds have been kind of lackluster and the matches, not spectacular. Bianca Belair has not had enough matches. She hasn't. Start adding it up and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, you know what, Lunchbox, I would seriously consider Seth Rollins if he had a little bit more as far as matches. I would love to put Edge on that list. Darby Allin, I would think about too. As ridiculous as that sounds, I put Darby Allin in the top 10. I mean, the guy, outside of the extracurricular activities, I mean, he has had some pretty decent work. It just seems like a lot of people took a step back this year, laid back a little bit. Look at Malachi Black. this guy would have had consistent matches, I could consider him in the top 10. He's wrestling next to nothing. Look how long he's been in AEW. I mean, it's not as long as Idolo, but he's in there, what? Got to be almost 2 months now, right? Month and a half, 2 months. He's had, what, one match with Cody and a match with Brock Anderson. Both were squash. You know? Something just, I don't know. Randy Orton hasn't had enough matches either, but, you know, I think we threw out some good names. You know, I mean, you add Japan, it obviously changes the game completely. Tyree Jones, what was one of the most hard-to-watch beatdowns in WWE? He has to go with Triple H and Austin attacking Lita. That is near number one on my list. Excellent. And I swear I'm not BSing you when I say this. I would have answered that. I talked about it on the history show when I was doing those episodes. If you've all out there have never seen it, it is very hard to watch. I give Lita all the credit in the world for taking that. And, you know, that obviously elevated the Hardys also and Lita. But Lita getting beat down by Austin and Triple H was pretty wild. If anybody out there's never seen it, trust me. I'd even say it's okay that you could leave the show for a little while and go check it out. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Sasha Banks has not had enough matches. Adam Cole, I think you could put Adam Cole up there on that list. He hasn't had a lot of matches lately either. I don't know. That's a rough list when you start breaking it down. It's going to be interesting. I mean, look, we're still in August. So now things are starting to pick up. So I think by December, we'll have a pretty clear idea as far as who is top five. Yeah, I would go with Triple H and Austin with Lita. I mean, JR has been beat down a couple of times, but it became comical after a while. You know, yeah, I'd go with that. Seriously. I'd definitely go with that. And once again, big shout out to Botch Club. He wanted to shout out Wrestle Daily on Instagram, and he's tuning in from Providence. So hope everything is well over there. And that is your super chats right now. So let's do the contest from last week. I told you it's really going to be an early night tonight. I'm not kidding. You know, that footage that I'm going to share with you is 20 minutes long. So we got 20 minutes of footage, and we do calls, and we're done. So, you know, we're at an hour and 5 minutes already. So even if I play the footage in 2-3 minutes, we'll be at 90 minutes. So that's how fast things are going. So let's do the contest. Very easy. I am going to pull up live right now last week's show. And I'm going to select the program. You'll see it on the screen. And what it does is it randomly picks somebody's comment that was posted on last week's show. All you have to do is be present in the chat room right now to claim your prize. And I really meant what I said last week, that from now on when I do contests, I definitely want to announce the winner within the first hour of the show. I think it's very unfair to make someone sit 2.5 hours for a contest. You know, I understand, you know, a lot of people have other things to do on Thursdays, and I'm not the only show out there right now. So I think within the first hour, give or take 5 minutes, I think is more than fair. So I am going to randomly select the winner right now. I will put the chat screen on the screen, and you will have 2-3 minutes to just pop in the chat room and just say, I'm here to claim my prize. If you don't claim it in 2-3 minutes, then I will select someone else. So good luck. So let me pull up the screen. It's very, very easy if anybody out there has never played before. This is last week's show. You could see me playing with my mouse. And what I am going to do on the left is I'm going to select a program called Pick a Winner. And now what it's going to do when I click this green box, it's going to pick somebody random from last week. And look, sometimes we get someone winning more than once within a month. And that's simply because, let's be honest, not everybody likes Q&A shows. So we don't get a huge audience compared to other shows. Now, the reason why I'm milking this for a minute or two is because I have people tuning in on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, a few other outlets that are not in the chat room right now. So I want to give them at least a minute or two to head on over to YouTube, give them a chance to win also. So, but yeah, so it's not as many comments are left. So I clicked the button and redemption. See, look, last week he was saying to me, don't I realize that other people are in different time zones so they can't be live, the contest? So redemption, how ironic is that? He brings a valid point out, but he ended up getting selected. So if redemption is here, he gets his choice of any shirt from the Pro Wrestling Tees store, and he gets a $50 gift card either from Amazon or from, I think, AEW, Pro Wrestling Tees, WWE Shop. So let's see if redemption, that's pretty fun. I mean, I'm not saying to be funny, but redemption, I do prizes on the live show. It's not easy to pick somebody after the fact because you got to claim your prize. So it's got to be done live. But I think within the first hour is more than fair. So let's see if redemption is around. If he doesn't claim it in the next 2-3 minutes, then we would have to pick someone else. But, I mean, it's not a perfect deal, redemption, but it's got to be live. Because you know what it is, redemption, and this is just how I operate. And yeah, I'm killing 2 minutes here, but it's a little something that I think a lot of you should know. You get a lot of people that do contests on their websites, and they'll say, oh, follow me here and post your thing here and this and that, and we'll randomly pick someone. And, people have done that for decades. They'll do a contest on their website to do, with a pay-per-view or something like that, and they'll claim to give away crazy shit. Back in the day, Xbox 360. You'd have some of these wrestling websites. We're going to give almost dropped my keyboard. I did. We're going to give away an Xbox 360. We're going to give away a PlayStation 4. All you have to do is just put your name and email here and join our mailing list. And then they go public. Congratulations, Joey Bicicletta, which is bicycle in Italian. Joey Bicicletta won the prize. Congratulations. They gave away nothing. Do you have any idea how many people who have done contests over the years gave away zero? And sometimes on social media, you see with Twitter, oh, you got to follow me, you got to like the comment, and then you got to post your favorite wrestler. And then we'll pick someone at random. Notice how they never run it through a randomizer. You know what they'll do? They'll have some additional burner accounts and a burner account. Not everybody is dishonest. Let me make that clear. Some people are very honest out there. But if you notice, they never live pull a winner. So that's why I do what I do over here. There's no way for me to finagle a contest. There's just no way. So anyway, unfortunately, he is not here. So we're going to have to pick someone else. Oh, I just realized. See, that's more neater. That's what it was supposed to be. Yeah, the screen is much neater now. So he's not here, right? So my apologies, my friend. I wish I could have gave it to you. Much love to Rams fan. Much love. He's been a listener since 2012 or 2013. Found me through TV tracks. And much love, my friend. Seriously, some people here, I think sometimes they feel, like, oh, this is all. Every little bit helps. You'd be surprised. Even when I did the drive for Conan back in the day, and I'm not trying to bring it up in recognition. I'm just bringing a point. Back then I said to everybody, I'm like, look, I know not everybody, can contribute as much as others. You spread the word. That is just as good. And even if if everybody just gave $1 or $2, you'd be surprised how many add up. We had almost 5,000 people back then that donated just $1 or $2. It adds up. It adds up. So Redemption, unfortunately, is not here to claim his prize. So we go back. We go back to the winner's circle. He is still here. See, that was his prize. Yeah, I almost feel bad. I almost feel like saying, hey, Redemption, send me a DM. I'll get you a shirt. Maybe he's a CM Punk fan. So actually, I am going to do that. Redemption, you see this later on, brother. Get in touch with me, and I'll hook you up with a shirt. Ooh, I almost clicked this thing. So, Troy Stevens. He says he can't get enough of me. Well, hopefully you are here Thursday night. Because if you're not, that means you did get enough of me. And you're not here to claim your prize. Let's see if he is around. Congrats. Troy Stevens. Let's see if Troy Stevens is around. Let's pull the chat back up. Where are you, chat? There you are. Troy Stevens. Is Troy around? Troy in the house. His house. Let's see if Troy is here. Now it's messed up because if Troy doesn't claim it, now Troy's going to email me later. It's like, hey, you gave Redemption a shirt. How do you not give me a shirt? I don't think Trey is around. I'll hook him up with a shirt anyway. So, last chance, Trey. Last chance. Doesn't take that long. Look, that's why I say you only need to give a minute. Because if you're tuning in live, you know for the last 5 minutes we're doing the contest. All you got to do is just pop on YouTube. Hey, I'm here. That's it. So he is not here. Stevens of the Troys. Troy Stevens, not around. So we're going to have to pick someone else from last week. Someone's getting sloppy thirds. Last chance, Troy Stevens. I know it's going to happen. I'm going to go back in the program, pick another winner, and then Troy's going to pop up. All right, let's pick someone else. Let's go back. Let's go back. All right. Let me pull up the screen once again. Let's go back here. It's not easy to push your... Oh, see? I accidentally closed the chat screen. Oh, there we go. Good. Thank God there's a reverse button over here. So let's go back. Here we go. Troy Stevens. Sorry, my friend. Blazing Bolts. Blazing Bolts. He knows he is late as fuck. Not late enough, my friend, because you were selected. So let's see if Blazing Bolts is around. Let's go back to the chat log. Blazing Bolts. I can't keep giving out shirts. I don't have it like that. Should we just continue the prize for next week? Should we just build it for next week? Let's just build it for next week, right? Or should we just keep going? Blazing Bolts. Blazing Bolts. Nowhere to be found. So it's up to you guys. Should we just take the gift card and put it for next week and add it on to something else? Keep going? Oh, never mind. Blazing Bolts. Congrats, my friend. Yes, you get the T-shirt and you get the gift card. So congrats. Congrats. Any shirt you want from the Pro Wrestling Tee store or the WWE store. Any wrestling shirt you want. It could be a podcaster. You can pick a podcast that I hate. Pick any shirt you want, any size, and you get a $50 gift card. You could choose Amazon. If you have PayPal, I'll PayPal you $50. WWE, Pro Wrestling Tees, however you want it. Shirt, 50, done. Contest over. Over. Yeah, you get a Jay White shirt, sure. I've got New Japan shirts for people in the past. I got hookups for New Japan. Sure you can. Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch with me. Email me, dontony@dontony.com, or drop me a DM on Twitter if that's easier for you. However you want to get in touch with me. Send me the link to whatever shirt you want, your shirt size. how you want the 50, and your address. We'll get it done. Get it done. We are going really smoothly tonight. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put the chat screen right back. You're here. We're going to share some retro Don Tony stuff right now, growing up Don Tony. Now, I'm just going to spend 2 minutes setting this up. I started my wrestling hotline in 1997. I got to work for ECW for about a little less than a year before it closed down, pushing tickets through my hotline. Few people in ECW reached out to me because my hotline ended up being the number one hotline in the country. So I got to work for them. Then XPW came to the Northeast, and I actually worked for XPW, did behind-the-scenes stuff, bus trips and everything. A lot of those Philly XPW shows that you saw, over half those crowds were my bus trips, did autograph signings, made a lot of friends along the way. One person who I became friends with, who is one of the most beautiful people I've ever met, is Lowlife Louis Ramos. Lowlife Louis Ramos is one of the most genuinely nice, scariest motherfuckers. He is someone that is just, you cherish. And I was doing a little behind the scenes stuff for USA Pro Wrestling at the time, and I got a lot of bullshit online. A lot of trolls, a lot of haters, just hated my guts. Some people jealous. You know, when you hear other people, podcasters and others, when people say, oh, how come you never hung out? How come people you never met? How come you never this? I did over 100 shows. Everybody was always invited. They knew where I was. They didn't show. That's just the fact. So Louis used to always say to me, and I know the chat box is a little bit off right now, but there's a reason, because the video, when I post it, it'll look nice. But Louis would always say to me, Funker, that was my nickname, Funker, because I'm huge. Terry Funk's my favorite wrestler of all time. Funker, why don't you do something on camera? I'm like, nobody wants to see my camera. He's like, you kidding me? He says, look at all this stuff online. Everybody would troll me. My grandmother died of a heart attack. One of the hardest things I ever dealt with in my life. And there's message board posts that when she died, I broke into her house and stole her drugs. 1991. It just like people just really went. She's like, come on, rub it in their face. She's like, let's do something. Let's have fun. It's the Indies. It's not NWA, TNA, or WWE. Let's do something. So he convinced me to go on camera. So we needed a good storyline. Just to summarize, Lowlife Louis got married and just had a child. Kid was about 6 months old. And Louis, it was a known fact by a lot of people out there that Louis wanted to stop wrestling hardcore. He wanted to focus on taking care of his family, working, doing other things. A lot of people loved Louis and wanted to see him still wrestle. So I came up with a storyline idea with Louis that since everybody was calling me a money mark and this and that since Louis worked for USA Pro Wrestling, Louis didn't have a choice if he wanted to wrestle hardcore or not. He had no choice. Louis wanted to wrestle normal and be with his family. So the storyline was, Louis, as long as you get paid, you do whatever we tell you to do. And if you don't listen, we're going to force you to do what you have to do. So Louis, they had a shower, a legit shower in Long Island at a wrestling show. And everybody that showed up were allowed to bring gifts for Louis and his wife and his kid. No joke. People brought diapers, baby formula, food. Trust me, this is a beautiful thing to see. Wrestling fans showing up with gifts. Well, somebody was supposed to put in an envelope a CD. I have the audio in this computer. I should have had it ready to share with all of you tonight. Epic, epic. In fact, I'm almost tempted to pull it up right now to see if I could find it. All I got to do is just go to the PC. I don't have too many files in this computer. I'm typing the word Jack. Let's see if Jack pulls up. So it's doing a search right now. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll pull it up. So they did a little segment for about 10 minutes in the ring where everybody was giving Louis gifts. And somebody was supposed to, a little kid was supposed to go in the ring and give Louis an envelope. And Louis was going to open the envelope, and inside the envelope was a CD. No label, no nothing. No card, just a CD. And Louis was going to show it to the crowd like he was showing the other gifts, just a CD. Louis, some things are popping up, but it's not that. It says, download the latest Jack house music. That's not it. Damn it. Might still show up. So anyway, nope. Pumpkin Jack, I don't know what the hell that is. So the kid brings the CD in the ring. Louis plays along, doesn't know what it is, gives it to the DJ to put in the thing, and you start hearing a little kid doing the Jack in the Box nursery rhyme. Jack in the Box, blah, 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 blah. You know, will you appear? And it goes through the whole nursery rhyme, and then when it goes Jack in the Box, will you appear? Then you hear New Jack say, yes, I am. And then New Jack's music hits. New Jack comes out there, destroys Louis, beats the living shit out of him. So that was the plan. Louis didn't want to wrestle hardcore, no problem. I was going to throw some of the most hardcore people to show up surprise and beat the living crap out of him. So what happens? Louis gets the CD. I have this on video. Louis gets the CD. He gives it to the DJ. Before the DJ could walk out of the ring, Sean McCaffrey, who hated my guts, who's in the gorilla position, he tells New Jack, go out there, go out there. So before the CD could play and the music could hit, New Jack goes out there and beats up Louis. Totally ruins my storyline. And I'm not even on camera yet. It is one of the most heartbreaking things, and this is the bullshit that I had to go through. It didn't show up with Jack, so I'm typing in box right now. I hope it pops up, because I promise you, when you think of my creative mind, and this is 15 years ago, people be like, that is fucking awesome. I promise you, next week, I will have it. It might pop up still. I could swear it's in this computer. So the show before this one, New Jack comes out and destroys Louis. Nobody live knew New Jack was going to be there. And the whole nursery rhyme thing was, instead of Jack in the Box, the name of the show was going to be New Jack in the Box. New Jack was going to come out of a box and beat the crap out of Louis. Didn't happen. So now we fast forward to this show, the teaser I showed you earlier. This is the first time I'm ever on camera. And what I did a tribute to Jericho, which you will see. I said that to be nice for Louis, after what happened on the last show, because I fed him New Jack, I was going to give him somebody easy. So I whipped out, remember Jericho with the 1,004 holds? I did a satire of Jericho. You'll see it. I picked out a paper and I said, this is the USA Pro Wrestling roster. And I was picking somebody who was a new student that always wanted to fight hardcore, and he was going to have a quick 1-minute match, 2-minute match with Louis, hardcore, and Louis was going to destroy him. Then after that, I was going to bring Abdullah the Butcher out. And then after that, I was going to bring out Mana the Polynesian Warrior. And then by the end of the night, Louis was going to be destroyed. And what ends up happening is, now this is my debut. Never talked before, never did anything on camera before. I go out there, and the first guy that I'm supposed to bring out there runs out of the building. He ran away. We rehearsed the whole match beforehand, went over everything, and when it was time to have the match, he ran away. So the masked maniac hits the ring and says, everybody, you're not going to believe this. Louis' opponent ran out of the building. It was true. Now, I'm thinking about the last show, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are sabotaging everything that I'm doing. So at this point, I'm like, there's no way. So I'm like, if anybody in the back wants to come out, Abdullah comes out, destroys Louis. You think Louis is done? No. I have Mana, the Polynesian Warrior, which I know a lot of you have never seen before, and that guy was scary. You'll see him. Mana beats the shit out of Louis as well. Then after that, I was going to go in the ring and just say to Louis that as long as you work for us, you do what we tell you to do. And you're going to keep bleeding and this and that. So while I'm in the ring, I know I'm revealing a little bit too much, but while I'm in the ring, Louis, I was going to staple $20 to him. And he's like, staple it to my head. I've never stapled anybody's head before. We didn't practice it. No, I know what I was going to do. I was going to shove $20 in his mouth like Ted DiBiase. I was going to take out a $20 bill and say, here, you earned your pay. And I was going to shove it in his mouth. And when I started walking up to him under his breath, he's like, staple it to my head. I'm like, what? He says, staple it to my head. And I'm like, huh? He said, staple it to my head. I stapled it to his head. It was one of those construction staples. When you see it, it went into his skull. I stapled the $20 to his head. But everything that I said was totally improvised. And this was the first ever time you ever see me on camera. So I think I set this up enough. Unfortunately, the New Jack thing didn't pop up. I'm very disappointed, but next week you will hear it. And that'll be pretty cool. So without further ado, you'll get a kick out of this. Here you go. Yours truly, almost 16 years ago, my first ever on-camera appearance. And this is how it went down.
It'll be fine. I'll talk to you when I'm done with the show, and we'll see what's going on.
Hey, Anthony.
Joey, hold on. What's going on? Hey.
Anthony, come here. Man, I thought you and me were friends, bro. What the fuck?
What's the matter?
What the hell is wrong with you? First, you tell me that I could wrestle, and then the next thing you know, New Jack is jumping me from behind. What the hell is that about?
Excuse me.
Now get the fuck off the phone, man. Get that shit out of here.
Listen, you have to work a whole year for the cost of that phone.
I don't give a shit about that.
I told you the last show, I thought I did the right thing because I thought the
By
fans
nearly getting me killed, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I didn't know you were going to lose a pint of blood. I didn't know you had to go to the hospital. I'm not a wrestler. I'm sorry. I told you I was wrong, okay? You said that you wanted to tone things down, and then I thought, you know what? Do the fans want to see you tone down? No, the fans want to see you wrestle hardcore.
You know what, brother? I want to tell you something, and I swear this on my son's life. The next time you screw me, I'm gonna kill you. Believe me, I'm gonna kill you.
I
So
wasn't
you
legit
better have
scared.
something for me tonight worthwhile.
I already told you. What I do tonight will make up for everything.
We'll see.
You're my friend, and friends,
We'll see.
don't fuck with each other. So
We'll see.
I think that was the only time I ever said, because that was one thing that I always had a problem with back in the day. I would always say, how many, when you hear someone talking, yeah, WWE, and yes, I am talking over the music, so I don't have any trademark issues, but I think that, and he legit scared the shit out of me, so I didn't know what to say. All right, so here we go. And people who know this story for 15 years but never saw the footage, you will now realize that everything I said was 1,000% accurate. I didn't exaggerate nothing. You're going to enjoy this, I promise you. This is going to be something special. And I have not watched this in 15 and a half years. I'm watching this with you. See, right now, Louis and I think we're cool. That's why he walks past me, no problem. He thinks I'm gonna give him an easy match. That's the story. All right. We had a pretty nice crowd too. See, that was his wife. Well, they're still married. That's his wife. Nice crowd, right?
Wrestling for you and still being busted my ass.
The crowd had no idea who I was bringing out.
So I want to ask Anthony why I haven't been given that chance.
Louis, you know I love you like a brother, man. For those who know who I am, knows what I'm about to say, I mean with all my heart. Thank you. This man,
People are trying to sabotage my shit.
And this man came to me the last show and told me, being a new father, soon to be a new husband, he wanted to turn his style down a little bit. In the last show, he told me he wanted to wrestle.
Here's my Jericho tribute.
And I told you a few weeks before the show you were going to wrestle. And then the day of the show, I paid out of my own pocket and I gave you New Jack. Because I thought that's what all of you wanted to see.
Well, I think it was what everybody wanted to see.
Exactly. The problem was, this man got sent to the hospital and lost a pint of blood. So I told him, after he tried to kick my ass,
I guess I wasn't that bad on the mic back in the day.
I told him tonight that he would have an easy night. I told him he would have an easy night. Louis, you trusted me tonight? We talked before the show. I told you would have an easy night tonight. You allowed me.
Here's my Jericho tribute.
This man allowed me to go and check the entire UXW roster and allow me to pick one person from this UXW roster to face tonight. And you trusted me to pick that person. So, you ready? Bring his opponent out. Louis, you wanted an easy night? I'm giving it to you, brother. Play his music.
I had no idea what was about to happen.
Find out right now who that is.
Why don't you introduce our guest right now at the time?
We are now.
Why don't you do that?
In the commentary booth by someone who, you know, we saw you and Tony Lowe earlier.
Do you guys hear me all right when I'm talking through this? But I just paused it for a second. I just want to make sure you could hear me all right. What's about to happen, I had no idea. I honestly had no idea. And then, you know, this is the first time I've ever been talking. So they're like sabotaging my shit. And, you know, Sean has got all his buddies out there like hazing me and stuff too. So I just wanted to make sure you could hear me as I'm talking in the background. So, all right, here you go.
Mike Tobin is here, you idiot. Why don't you just say it? You got to make a big introduction. Mike Tobin is
But
sitting
who's
next to
going to
us.
be this? But who's going to be this?
This is Jamaica, Queens, New York.
I think these people are getting mad now. I think Low Life Louis is getting mad now. I think the referee's getting mad now. Hanson, I don't know what's going on there.
Did I not call it? Did I not call
said
it?
a minute ago.
I said we were 3 seconds away.
See, I threw the papers on the floor. I was
I did call it.
pissed.
Thank
The
you,
words
Mike
of the
Tobin.
superstar once again. There's some people back there in the locker rooms that'll take this man apart.
Let me tell you something right now. Hey, you listen to me, Dexter Wiener. Oh, Weiner. And Petco. I don't know who
Idiots.
like Louis Ramos challenging out here. Is he supposed to? Are we supposed to have Abdullah The Butcher? Is he supposed to be out
You
here?
kind of remind me of somebody.
Hey,
I thought I saw.
You see how they name dropped Abdullah the Butcher? Now, no one in the crowd knew. But you see how they name dropped it before the surprise even came out? That's the shit that people were doing to sabotage everything that I tried to do. Little things like that.
Ken Sweeney behind that curtain a minute ago. Oh, hold on, Mr. Goodman speaking.
come on, you know that's a joke. You know that guy ain't gonna be here. Wait a minute.
I'm going to tell you is 100% true. We got a guy in the back
No,
who's
wait.
supposed to wrestle Louis.
Listen to this. This is good.
He's gone. I swear to God, what I'm telling you is true. We got a guy in the back waiting to wrestle.
Well, what the hell is this?
He hightailed it.
The guy literally
Commissioner
ran out of the
Goodman
building
just
scared.
said that the kid booked. He took his back, he took his smile, he lost his smile, and he went home. That's what he's saying, yeah.
I can't believe it. Hanson,
Well,
I can't believe this nonsense.
Throwing Anthony de Blasio under the bus. Wants him to say something here.
Listen, I guess the winner is Low Life Louie.
We worked
De
out this
Blasio
whole elaborate thing.
I don't think De
That's what
Blasio
it
wants to
comes
mess
down
up that wind tunnel tested hairdo or the suit he's got on.
You know, let me tell you something. Low Life Louie Ramos is stuck without an opponent here.
Did it pass or fail?
I mean, who the heck are they going to... I bet if the Macho Man Randy Savage was here, he'd do something, wouldn't he?
Low Life Louie Ramos is going to do the thing right now. You're going to feel the wrath of the madness. Yeah.
See, I improvised and I said, you wanted an easy night tonight. It doesn't get any easier than that. But if you want, I have someone else in the back that you want to fit. I had to improvise all this.
He's not here.
Wait a minute, time out. Anthony De Blasio, hey, Petco, did you just hear this?
What did you call me?
Anthony De Blasio said he's going to bring someone out here.
Why don't you go out there, Hanson, and wrestle him?
Yeah. Now you didn't have to call them motherfuckers, Louie.
I think
he wants blood. He wants a hardcore match.
I think all these people want to see the drama queen of UXW, Rep Hanson, get in there and wrestle this guy.
I'm needed here.
Come on, drama queen, go out there, wrestle him.
Hey, listen, Petco, chill out. Go ahead, Wiener. Whine.
I was going to ask Mike Tobin in all
This
your
gets
years,
epic
sir,
very, very
have you
quickly.
ever seen anything like this?
Absolutely not.
You know, I bet if our old buddy Danny Drake was here, he'd be wiping the floor with him. Isn't that right? Big shout out.
Very possible.
Sitting at home, congratulations, my man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Drake would pull out.
Hey, Petco, Dexter, come on, we got low.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, at least if a match does happen, there's a competent referee in the ring right now to handle
Oh, is it Mr. Big?
Watch this.
The promoter again.
Now keep in mind, this was at the tail end of his career.
Could it be Hard Rock Ken Sweeney?
Could it be? Could it be?
Dexter, we've got Toby, we've got an idiot.
I don't know who the hell it could be.
Words of Jesse the Body. I might have to come out of retirement and take this title.
Is it gonna be Judd? Wait a minute! Wait just a guys, I was joking!
Wait a minute.
Look who that is!
Well, there he goes.
No way.
That! I was joking! Oh my god, look who that is!
Looks like Abdullah The Butcher.
That was a joke! These guys wrestled one time
And I
before.
really wanted to see him walk down the steps.
They wrestled one time before, July 2003, it was a bloodbath. I didn't know Anthony De Blasio had this up his sleeve. Petco, what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? It's Vitco there, Hanson. And you know what? I think that this is going to be a great match. But I also think it's a good thing that Pat Savino's in the ring to handle this match, because I don't think you can do it there, Big Mouth.
Hey, time out. Listen, Tobin, I was joking. Is that really Abdullah?
I can't believe what I'm looking at right now. I'm in a state of shock right now. These two have met, as Hanson said, in the Elks Lodge on Queens Boulevard. Low Life Louie, the self-professed hardcore king of New York, I think is in for a rough night, brother.
Did you ask if it's Abdullah the Butcher? Well, it's either Abdullah the Butcher or your ex-girlfriend. I don't know which one it is.
No, my ex-girlfriend's bigger than that. But wait, hold on just a second here. When I was joking about being possibly Macho Man or possibly this guy or that guy, I was just making fun. Guys, I'm really looking at Abdullah.
Well,
I'm glad I'm sitting up here with my good friend, North Carolina Tar Heel fan Mike Tobin.
well, I can't say the same. I wish you were in the ring, because at least I'd have to hear your mouth.
Right now. And Missouri, bloodbath on the way, Daddy.
You know, this has got to be a bigger shocker than that scumbag Johnny Damon jumping ship to the Yankees. This has got to...
Oh, we don't need to go there. Whoa, Low Life Louie, right on. Right on. Goes right to work. I believe he might have an international object in his right hand.
This is too much. Yeah, hey, Tobin, you were in that building last time these two men fought.
Yes, sir, I was.
I was slipping on blood and guts all over the goddamn place. These two are going crazy.
I can't believe it. And Louie, you know, whether it's the right thing to do or not, it's the smart thing to do. Don't give the man a chance to get in there. Get right on him. That's what he's doing. Taking advantage of it.
That is exactly what he's doing. And yeah, I think you're right, Tobin. He definitely has some kind of object in his hand, whether foreign or international, as you like to put it.
And I think Louie learned a lot from their first meeting in the Elks Lodge.
Well, thank God we got a competent referee in here, Pat Savino, because Vitco said it. He's a veteran of, what, 6 months? You just sit there, shut your mouth, and call the action.
I'm going to shut my mouth.
What has Louie got in his hand? That's disgusting.
Abdullah the Butcher has finally made it into the ring.
And you know what? There's probably some idiot sitting at home saying that that's vampire blood. That's fake. You know what?
It gets good very quickly, trust me.
There's no idiot sitting. Well, there's an idiot sitting next to me. His name is Ref Hansen.
Don't pick on Mike Tobin like that. Mike, I apologize.
Well, I think Anthony DeBlas is the big liar of the night because he told Low Life Louis Ramos that he was going to have an easy night. There is no easy night with Abdullah the Butcher in the ring.
Let me ask you guys a question. Where else are you going to see this? Where else are you going to see this kind of a match? The kind of stars that are on the show. Abdullah the Butcher, legend.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Heard a bottle break.
What was that?
Yeah, UXW. I don't know what that was. Abby, oh, no. Abby's got
a bottle. That is a broken bottle in his hand.
It looks like Bob Wall and Enter the Dragon going after Bruce Lee with a broken bottle.
Hey, Abdullah with the curly shit, got the broken glass. What else he's got stuffed in them tights?
The only thing that could be better than this if it was Ref Hansen that was getting hit with a bottle and not Low Life Louis.
Let me tell you something.
Say something, Hansen. Say
Hansen's
something.
been there for enough bloodbaths, prop guy matches, and all kinds of other battles. You don't know what the rubber chickens are all about.
Hansen, is your eye feeling better? Because we saw it got poked a little while ago. That little act.
I got something in my, and if you see Balls Mahoney, just tell him I'll pick up dinner later.
Yeah,
well, let's get back to this match.
Louis in trouble right now.
Hey,
Broken bottle turned the tide here.
Low Life Louis got a stick and move. He's got a hit and run. Oh, see, you play his game. You play Abdullah's game, and you're going to lose. Come on. Louis, don't do this. He fell into that trap last time. Abdullah Butcher's a hardcore wrestler, a veteran of over 25 years.
Well, if this ring canvas wasn't red before we started after this match, it definitely would have been that color.
It would have been red because of the blood. All right, I got you there.
Oh, Hansen.
Yeah. All right.
This crowd, if you look around this crowd right now, there is not too many people sitting down. Everybody's on their feet. They can't believe what they're watching right now.
And every one of their mouths are just like
and they're standing because they're
open.
excited, aren't they?
Oh, Louis goes halfway across the ring there.
Oh my God, Low Life Louis. Thank God he's got camouflage on so he can hide in between the ropes and stuff. It's just not quite working out for him that way.
That's clever. That's really clever, Hansen.
You're damn right it's clever there, Petco. Yo, Petco.
Abdullah's manager on the floor there.
Where is Beef Wellington? Let's get this asshole out of here and him back.
I don't think this guy would get a hot dog up his ass, though. I'll give him that much credit.
Thank you, Tobin.
Oh my God. Oh, he's down. Ow!
Well, Louis Ramos down.
That's crazy.
Trademark, a fork right to the head. I can't see the object.
I've been a referee for many, many years. Well, a few.
Wow, congratulations.
Low Life Louis Ramos has got to be the most hardcore wrestler I've ever met. But here comes Abdullah the Butcher. I've never seen anyone match up with Louis like this.
So vicious strikes to the forehead of Low Life Louis with that object.
Hey, Mike Tobin,
got the chair.
You're a master of the mat game. You're not a hardcore legend, and hey, you don't try to be, but
that shot speaks for itself.
Just think of the blood vessels and think of the cells in his body. They all just moved around with the force of that chair. That don't feel pretty.
Low Life Louis at this moment is at the mercy of the master. There is nobody better at hardcore wrestling.
Hold on, Pecco, will you stop crying? Jesus Christ, grow up, man. It's a hardcore match. If you can't take it, leave.
I was just going to say, you know what? This event's called Violent by Nature, and this match has just shown what that's all about. Their big mouth.
To the crowd.
I think it hit one of our photographers.
I used to love his chops. Love his freaking chops.
You know what, Louis, after falling down like that, looked a little like you there, Hansen.
Photographer's still down.
What's Abdullah set him up for? Got him dead center in the ring.
Elbow drop.
Big elbow.
There it is.
2, 3.
Beat him with an elbow.
Nobody gets up from
Beat him with an elbow.
Low Life Louis just learned the hard way the rule about making open challenges in New York City.
Hansen, are you headed back to the ring? Please say yes. I'm begging you. Please say yes.
Actually, I'm heading out to go fuck your grandmother in the bushes. Then back to the...
In the last 20 weeks. And also, I want to say, the next time we come back to New York, we invite Mr. Sabu himself. Come and get some.
Wait a minute. Did you hear what I just heard?
Yeah, we heard him, idiot. We heard him.
Wait, you know who he just challenged?
Well, Sabu is here tonight.
Wait a minute. Tell Abdullah's manager to relax a little bit here.
Well, the crowd wants Sabu.
Yeah.
I want Sabu.
I don't know if Abdullah wants.
Well, he knows how to say that in English.
I'm not touching this one with a 60-foot pole. Abdullah and
Why
Sabu.
you two idiots talking?
Abdullah and Sabu. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna.
It's not over yet. Wait till you see what happens next. I promise you, it's even better than this.
Take a little break.
All right, my man. Good talking to you, brother. Good luck with the rest of the show, Daddy.
I gotta tell you, 5 minutes. You know your belly, son.
Well,
I don't think you want any of the bookies. You want to earn your salary? 5 minutes ain't enough, son. You're not finished.
well, after a hard-fought match against Abdullah the Butcher, Anthony DiBlasi says he's not done. Well, somebody else is going to be coming out here right now. Let's see what DiBlasi has in mind. Thank God I am joined by only me. I'm Vidco. Those other two idiots, Mike Tobin and Ref Hansen, out of here. Thank God. It's Mana. Low life Louie with a chair to the head. I guess 5 minutes with Abdullah the Butcher wasn't enough. Being pummeled with a chair. I'm pummeled. I sound like Dexter Water right now, but that's what it is. Apparently, Anthony DiBlasi, we know earlier on, was threatened by Low Life Louie in the past, so I guess he's getting back at him right now. Oh my God! That's Mana! Low Life Louie already busted open from being in the ring with Abdullah the Butcher. Back into the, off the ropes right now. Samoan drop. Well, you've got to think that Anthony DiBlasi had this up his sleeve the entire match. He gave the entire time, I should say. Had the roster of every UXW superstar. Abdullah the Butcher came out, accepted the challenge. What does DiBlasi have in his hand? That is a staple gun in Anthony DiBlasi's hand. Well, oh my, that is a cheese grater across the forehead of low-life Louis Ramos. And Pat Savino can do nothing but watch this match. Low-life Louis down on the canvas right now, a bloody mess. Mana's got the chair to the back. Again and again. Well, Mana, looks like it, from where I'm sitting, that looks like a pair of scissors. Anthony DiBlasi with the staple gun to the head of Louis.
Who you want to face and how you want to face him, You don't tell us what to do. I paid a lot of money to be in the position I'm in right now. You don't tell me what to do.
Well, that's the truth.
You don't like it, next time this happens again, and guess what? I buy your 8-month-old son a front row ticket so he can see what his daddy does for a living.
Well, that's just you know what? I love a good fight. I love a big mouth, but that's wrong. That is wrong. Bringing in the guy's 8-month-old son. Yep. Anthony DeBlasio really proud.
All right. All right. Pretty cool, right? Next time, I'm going to buy a front row ticket for your 8-month-old son so he can see what his daddy does for a living. That was the first time ever on camera. Epic. Louis, seriously, no joke, man. Toughest son of a bitch. Actually, you know what? Let's put this instead. That's better. Louis is one of the no joke, legit, one of the toughest son of a bitches. And you got to understand something. People were trying to sabotage everything that I was doing. And Louis still went out there and did 1,000% in this. I miss it. I miss it. You're getting to see footage 15, 16 years ago that always was buried because so many people said that I was horrendous, awful, terrible. I mean, it's not fun. It's not fun. I mean, it really, could you imagine if we had Twitter and Facebook back at that time? Oh my goodness. But he took a beating that night. And Mana, I think he is a trainer and he has a school overseas now. Mana was one of the nicest people that I had met at that time. And, decent worker. I mean, he really got into it. But look, man, one thing that I love about doing the video, obviously, is being able to share stuff like this with you. But, one thing that people are noticing is that, for anybody that's supported me for years, if not decades, I've been telling stories about these nights on the shows more than anything. And I know some of you out there have heard me tell the story about this night at least 10, 20 times over the years. I never played the footage before. So what people are seeing now, every little moment, I never exaggerated. I never lied. I never made anything up. In fact, if you heard me when I was dissing the crowd, I didn't even know what to think of. So I tried to insult someone, and I looked at some guy. I said, "You couldn't get a girl wet if you threw her in a pool." I enjoyed it. I miss it. But I am pissed off. Honestly, I'm not kidding. I am pissed. No joke. I am pissed the fuck off that I stopped doing it in 2011. I am pissed off. I was in a lot more pain at that time, but I had so many people saying that what I was doing was so awful, that I was so horrible, even though it was just the indies. No, I mean, it's just the indies. You're supposed to have fun. Now, yes, I didn't want to take up someone else's spot because I didn't do this stuff full time, but I ended up going to wrestling school for a year. It's not a lot compared to everybody else, but I still tried. I really tried. And I will tell you this much. I am so thankful that I did not throw this stuff in the garbage. There are a few things that I did throw out over the years, but I stopped and I said, maybe one day I'll look at it again. But I swear to you, 95% of what we just watched, I have not watched since 2006. I was so embarrassed at what I did because so many people said that I was awful. Honestly, I think even though maybe, I'm not the most charismatic or in shape person, but, I tried to be believable. I tried to be an asshole. I don't want to get too personal here, but, you know, I've mentioned this once or twice over the years, but I was in Louis' wedding party, you know, and that's how special this guy was and is, you know, so I really wanted this to be fun. And, you know, at that time when people are like, Louis, hardcore legend, and throwing his career in the garbage by working with this jerk off, this goof, it hurt. It really hurt. But, you know, hey, we got memories. And, you know, like I've said also, you know, there's a lot of other people out there that do podcasts and stuff like that. And unfortunately, they never got to experience the things that I experienced. And I think that there is some legitimate bitterness about that. If you notice, every time, like I post a highlight, I post a clip, post a little something, you never see any of them ever come out like, oh, man, that was funny. Man, never saw that before. Holy shit, I didn't know you did this. Wow, this is pretty cool. Not one. Not one. And that I take notice of. Take notice of that. I don't ask for people to compliment it or put it down or acknowledge it. I don't seek for it. But, you know, when you see people out there that are supposedly your friends and supposedly, you know, and then you put this stuff out there and they go offline for 24 hours to try to make it seem like, oh, I wasn't online yesterday. I didn't even know you posted it. Oh, I had no idea. Okay, we get away with that excuse once or twice. But when I've posted 17, 18 clips already and then never around whenever I post it, you know, that says a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of people online that you think are the internet darlings. They're some of the most shadiest, two-faced, backstabbing, bitter people out there. Some of the most bitter. Some of those bitter. When good things happen to them, they want to tell the world, and they want the world to celebrate it with them. When good things happens to others, they disappear. That's when you know truly who's your friends, who looks out for you, and who is just jealous as can be. It's all good. We're family, and I love sharing it with you. And I say fuck everybody else out there. So anyway, see how fast time flies? We're already at 2 hours. And we didn't even get into all that much. That's how fast time flies. So what I'm going to do before we go, if you would like, I would be more than happy to open the phone lines for a few minutes. If you have any questions, I know we took calls 2 days ago, 3 days ago, so I'm sure there's not too many questions, but if anybody wants to call in, I'll be more than happy to open the phone lines. Like I said, just have something specific that you want to talk about. And, you know, I'd like to get as many people in within the next maybe like 15 minutes. So I know that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but, you know, we've been conversing all throughout the show tonight. Sean, I have a good idea as far as why Sasha Banks is off TV, but I am going to treat it like the Keith Lee situation. If she doesn't want to make it public, WWE doesn't want to make it public, I'm not going to make it public. I don't want to be wrong either. You know what I mean? The Keith Lee stuff, you know, there was some things that we knew that ended up being true, but we had no idea about the heart condition, you know, and honestly, it would be disrespectful if I would have came out there and said, and I think it's disrespectful to Sasha Banks to, you know, throw out there even like little tidbits, you know. I think sooner or later you'll know. Hopefully she's back sooner than later. That's all I can really say. So I didn't get a chance to watch Impact yet, but I did see the stuff with Christian. And I got to tell you, even though I still will stick with that it was ridiculous that Impact Wrestling hasn't had one of their own champion in 2021. Think about that for a minute. One of their own has not been world champion in 2021. That speaks volumes. But I will tell you, Christian is doing a great job as Impact Wrestling champion. He puts off a good vibe. He puts off a good vibe. And, it was interesting. I watched Tommy Dreamer's promo today, paying tribute to Christian. And he was talking about how we lost Christian for 7 years. And it hit me. I was like, wow. I don't know if anybody really takes a step back and thinks about it, that Christian and CM Punk both left wrestling right around the same time. So when you look at the last year, we got CM Punk back. We got Christian back. Edge has been back in some capacity. Now Brock Lesnar is back. Becky Lynch is back. And, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I'm telling you, the last 4 months of 2021 is going to be a 4-month period that is going to be extremely memorable. It might be up there near the top of the list as far as a 5-month stretch of wrestling from August 1st to the end of the year. I argue, or I will challenge anyone to put up another 5-month period that was as epic outside of maybe the 90s. WWE had an awesome roster in the mid-2000s. Once you had some of the WCW, wrestlers, finishing out their Time Warner contracts, and TNA was pretty damn good as well. But this, coming out of COVID, it feels a little bit different. So I argue that this 5-month period is going to be some of the best 5 months of wrestling that we have had ever. Maybe not all time, but it's got to be up there. So I will take the chat screen off. I will put up the calls. And I will give the phone lines open. You see the numbers on the screen, 833-366-8686 or 225-366-8669. And we'll take some calls. Then we'll call it a night. Good evening, you're on. Who's this?
What's up, BT? It's me, Blazing Bolts.
Hey, Blazing Bolts. Congrats.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I already sent you a DM on Twitter, by the way.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out after the show's over.
All right, no problem. Sounds good. How are you, DT?
Yeah, not bad. Looking forward to the weekend. Little rest and relaxation. SmackDown tomorrow should be fun. See what they do with Becky Lynch and Bianca. And a few other things that they're planning. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar is going to be an interesting dynamic. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how you used to watch WWE, DT. I haven't watched Raw live in 8 years. I only watch the YouTube clips that I'm interested in, which is far and few between. Roman Reigns has been killing it this year. I've bought his Wreck Everybody and Leave shirt, and every single time when I take it to work at Amazon, a lot of coworkers are like, "Man, that's a cool shirt," and they're not even wrestling fans.
And they can buy it from Amazon. It is available on Amazon too. But that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know you are short on time, so I just want to ask one quick question.
Sure, absolutely.
So, the Adam Cole situation. I know there's a lot of speculation, and I hate to assume, but in my opinion, if I'm Adam Cole, why would I go to AEW if I'm going to get lost in the shuffle? If anything, I want to stand out, and Adam Cole stands out. So why not go back to New Japan and be one of the pillars and help out the Western expansion? That's just how I feel. Go back to the Bullet Club and New Japan, because I know the Bullet Club and the Elite are planning, there's already the seeds planted of the feud. Because think about it, DT, who kicked out Adam Cole out of the Bullet Club? The Elite. Not Tama Tonga, not his brother Tangaloa, nobody from the OGBC. It was the Elite who kicked Adam Cole out.
I'll say this. I'm not going to call Tony Khan a money mark, but Tony Khan's bankroll is, let me say this the right way. Tony Khan has a lot of people in the company because the contracts are very loose, meaning that people can make money outside of AEW. But for a select few, Tony Khan pays a very comfortable salary, a very, very good amount of money. Adam Cole, I don't know if he would get that kind of money if it was Impact or another company out there. So if Tony Khan is willing to pay what Adam Cole is looking for, Adam Cole would go to AEW. Look at Andrade. Andrade has wrestled, by the time we have the pay-per-view next week, and Andrade wrestled once in 3 months for AEW. I don't know what his salary is, how much he's getting paid, his contract in AEW. But to just show up for promos and wrestle one match for 3 months, man, that's something extremely tempting. I mean, Raw had him on every single week wrestling, and AEW has had him wrestle 1 4-minute match in 3 months. So if Adam Cole is offered a nice amount of money from Tony Khan, and Adam Cole realizes, hey, I may not have to wrestle other than maybe like once every 3 or 4 weeks, he may take that offer. He's not as young as what he used to be. So he may want to take a couple of years to just kick back, go along with the AEW program, and not have to work as much as what he did before. I think that's what it comes down to. I personally think he stays in WWE. I think he does go to Raw or SmackDown, and I think that WWE will promise him a more limited schedule, but I have a feeling that he stays. Maybe he even signs for 1 more year, but I think he ends up staying in WWE for a little bit longer.
No, okay. Yeah, definitely. I can also see him stay because, I mean, like you said, what's the point of paying him so much money just to stay in NXT?
Right.
Like, he's already been there and done that.
Yeah, I think, and honestly, I think he's better fit on Raw. I think that there are more people that I'd like to see. I mean, look, SmackDown, you got Cesaro and you got others, but I think he has a better chance on Raw because, I'm not going, nothing against the champions on Raw, but I personally think that Adam Cole, there's plenty of people he could face on Raw, but it's not out of the realm of him holding a United States Championship, Intercontinental Championship, a secondary title. I just think he would be a better fit on Raw.
The reason, DT, I wouldn't want Adam Cole to go to the main roster is because what I've seen, in my opinion, my gut feeling tells me is that Triple H creates, Vince kills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's the WWE formula, and we'll never understand it completely, and it doesn't make sense all the time. But Adam Cole is one of those. See, the one good thing about Adam Cole is there was never much of a gimmick about him. It was just straight up, talent, promo, extremely skilled in the ring. Reminds me of a lot of AJ Styles. They didn't put like funny attire on AJ Styles. They didn't, tweak with his look all that much. So I have a feeling Adam Cole would probably follow the path of AJ Styles more than, an NXT guy where they totally change his look and try to turn him into a gladiator or something.
So, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, well, DT,
we'll know soon enough.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.
Thank you, DT.
Have a good weekend. Congrats again.
Thank you. You too. You have a good night.
You too. Yeah, we'll know about Adam Cole. Matter of days. I mean, week or two at the most. Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, DT. It's David Peralta.
Hey, Dave. What's going on?
I'm hanging in there.
Okay.
I'm trying to,
I know. We talked. Mish and I talked about it on Patreon Tuesday. I feel exactly the frustration you're going through, and I just try. I'm going to use a word that I've never used on the show before, not even once. But I had a conversation with my mom about it the other day. I've turned into an introvert. I may socialize here and everything like that, but me and my fiance, if the world was just us two, we would be perfectly fine with that. I don't like being around like people like I used to because of all the bullshit that's going on. But just make the best of it. Just make the best of it. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you focus on.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying my best on this.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
The other thing I'm the only thing I have that's good. Well, I don't know why I feel so pissed off about it. I mean, I have my job, thankfully, but it's like it doesn't really satisfy me enough to say that I'm enjoying my life right now. Because look, I still live in a really abusive household, and I'm like, look, I cannot deal with this anymore. I got to get out of this as quick as I can. And look, I know you may not agree with me on this, but look, some people, unfortunately, in this world, they're not meant to be parents. Yeah. They are not meant to be parents. And that situation I had to deal with my mom and dad, I'm like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I mean, they're divorced, so I'm like, I got to get out of this right away. And this whole city is not going to, it just can't. It can't fix itself. And look, once Cuomo and de Blasio are gone, okay, what's next? Like, what's that going to, who are the next two people going to say that they're going to fix this city up? Who? Because, like, if they are going to say what they're going to say, then they better prove it to us, like, straight up, because I just can't trust my own. I never trusted my government, but especially here in New York, it's just so horrible. It is horrible. It's just miserable.
I agree.
I've been trying my best to, like, find a place to live, because I'm like, am I going to raise a kid like this in a society like that? Like, man, I can't. I can't.
See, I've already told my parents, you know, I don't want them to leave just yet. Stick around for a couple more decades, but once they're gone, I'm probably getting out of New York. I'm probably going to go to, I've thought about Connecticut. I've thought about Florida. I've thought about West Coast. But, you know, the one thing I will say is I try to keep my mind off of it as much as possible. See, I got lucky that I get to do so many shows here. I get to spend time with my family. I get to spend time with my fiance. Keeps my mind busy. But there's been many years where things just felt like it sucked. And the one thing I realized is the more I thought about it, or the more I tried to force something happening, the less it happened and the more frustrated I got. The minute I stopped focusing on things that I felt needed to happen, they happened. It's weird. It's just strange how it happens. You know, I had a bad relationship. I vowed never to get married again. I vowed, you know, I wasn't even looking for a serious relationship. When I least expected it, you know, or when I did want it, it never came around. And all these whack jobs and dumb fucks would show up, and, you know, it would be what it is. But when I least looked for it, that's when I found it. It's just strange how it happens, but, you know, you just got to stick in there and just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll find some things here and there that will ease your mind a little bit and make you a little happier. And once you get that, you build on it, but you can't force it, because when it doesn't come, then it makes you feel 10 times worse. But you just got to, you know, fight the good fight. And let me tell you something. When you do get better times, you're going to look back at this and you're going to realize that it made you stronger. And as weird as it may sound right now, you may look back on it and say, it's the best thing that ever happened to you. It'll straighten you out.
I mean, I hope so, man.
Just keep the faith, man. Just keep your head up, and, you know, things will get better. It's got to get better. It's got to get better.
Do. I mean, look, honestly, hearing you talk about, you know, getting married with your lady right now, I'm like, man, shit, I wish I would have that in my life.
Yeah, but look at my age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look, so it's like, you know, it should have happened long time ago. And it did once, but it got erased because it went bad. So, you know, a lot of people, even at my age, don't get married, you know? So, you know, it sounds cool and everything, but, you know, in a perfect world, this should have happened 20 years ago. But I didn't know, you know, but honestly, meeting this person now was the best thing that happened to me, and it happened when I least expected it. So you just got to hang in there. It'll get better. I mean, all the decades that I've been around, I could honestly say this with no lying whatsoever. I have a lot of fans, a lot of friends, a lot of family who have gone through some really rough times. And maybe on one hand, I could count people where they tried and ultimately they just failed and could never recover. I'm not saying that they all, you know, ended it a tragic way, but, you know, it led to drugs and other things. But of all the people that I've come across in my entire life, maybe on one hand, you know, so the odds are it'll get better.
And I hope so. I really, really.
Yeah, I hope so too. I really do.
Yeah. There's a couple of, actually, at least 2 questions I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
One is, yesterday, last Wednesday, was actually the 20th anniversary of Aaliyah's death. I don't know if you remember her.
Sure. She was going to Barbados, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was going to Barbados. Plane crash.
The plane crash, and they just very, very horrible news. Like when you heard that situation, what was your reaction when you saw that?
I did not follow her music.
Okay.
When I just want to shout, God franchise, welcome, my friend. When I heard it on the news, and it was only a couple of months before 9/11, I remember like Entertainment Tonight doing tributes to her. I remember a bunch of TV shows. Then, you know, the only thing I will say is I didn't follow her music, but when you heard about a story and saw what happened and saw how young her career was, you know, she could have been a mega superstar. Who was the other Latin artist that was murdered by her?
Selena.
Who?
Selena.
It reminds me of that. Selena and Aaliyah almost put in the same category. I mean, obviously 2 very different tragic circumstances, but you know, you just think to yourself, wow, they really would have made, I think, big impacts in the music industry, but they were taken too soon.
Another one as an example, Let's Die from TLC. Like she died a couple months later as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
When I heard that news.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's weird, you know, sometimes some of these tragedies and there's no explanation for it. It's no explanation, but, you know, it's just amazing that it's 20 years already. It's weird. Yeah. It's crazy.
Another question. Let's see. Another question is, I don't know how you feel about this, man, but there's been a bunch of rumors about, is Bray Wyatt going to AEW on a Halloween, or is he going to go back to WWE? I'm like, look, I think he needs a little bit more time. And I think that because of the whole stressful situations he's dealing with, because he's got a family, he's got to deal with the loss of his brother or best friend, Brody Lee, and all that. I still think he needs more time, man. And all that shit, like saying, he's going to go to AEW, I just think it's a crock of shit. And if so, what is his name going to be, and who's he going to wrestle against? Like, that's the thing that always baffles my mind. Like, I always hear rumors that, Adam Cole's going to go to AEW. Okay, who's he going to face? Orange Cassidy, Ethan Page, so there was another one, Moxley, Kingston. Who's he going to face? Kenny Omega, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that the biggest problem is, like, people jump to conclusions. Every time there's always a speculation. Either somebody got fired or somebody didn't negotiate their contracts on time or somebody just let go. I'm like, you can't really expect them to go to a different company just because, like, either their contracts are expired or they just choose to have some time off. So if that's the case, like, I don't know, like, how do you feel about that? Like,
I think Bray Wyatt ultimately goes back to WWE.
Right.
I just, you know, I mean, AEW now is 4 TV shows, and still you got people that wrestle once a month sometimes. And you see, even with the women's division, you look at some of the women that's on that roster. I think of Ty Conti almost immediately. Thunder Rosa is another example. Yeah, okay, they're on AEW Dark. That's nice and everything. How come they can't get them on Dynamite, or even, you know, 3 weeks of Rampage? We're on week 3 already on Rampage. And how do you not, Ty Conti, she's finally getting a match against the Bunny. Does that feel like it's a bit? So my point is this is my point, that, you know, when you realize that you got 4 shows and you look at the current state of the AEW women's division, you start bringing in other women. Well, guess what? Nyla Rose may wrestle once every 6 weeks now. So I just personally think it gets to a point where, you know, we could all fantasize somebody wrestling someone else, but at the end of the day, you know, it's got to get to a point where Tony Khan, you know, it's almost like, you know, you go to a department store, just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you buy 3 TVs. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you should buy 5 cars. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you should buy 2 houses. Gets to a point where you gotta, you know, buy what you buy and take care of them and enjoy them. Because then what happens is that it just takes up space. And that's what's happening to Tony Khan very, very quickly. This is a person with a lot of money, whether it's his money or dad's money or whatever it is, and he doesn't know how to manage. I mean, he reminds me of someone, you walk into the house and they got 15 different video game systems, and you can only play with only so many at a time. You know, and it's like, you got to get to a point where you got to start being a little bit more responsible. I don't think Bray Wyatt ends up there. If it is, it's going to be for a very short period of time. I think he goes back to WWE.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about organization. You got to organize if you want to build yourself up, especially with your business, because like you can't expect to do a lot of things at one time. You got to just build it bit by bit by bit, and by the time everything is all good, you're going to have your company on the top. So
absolutely. So I think Bray, after some time, I think he goes back to WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah,
Jim, I'm gonna let you go. It was very nice talking to you.
Yeah, same here.
Thank
Same
you
here.
so much for the advice, man. I'm gonna keep the hope up, man.
Thank you. Same to you, my friend. All right, be well. Take care. All right, shout out to everybody. Bob the Builder, I'm sorry, my friend. I know you was trying to call. Seriously, am I going to hang up on someone? No, we're having a conversation. Plus, a lot of other people are trying to call as well. But you try calling in now. See, I don't know your phone number. See, if I knew your phone number, then I could like look out for it and say like, hey. So, phone line is open. I don't see you calling in. Oh, maybe this is him. Is it? Good evening. You're on. Who's this?
Hey, this is Steven DeSanta.
Hey, Steve. Hey, what's going on?
Well, not too much. I've been a long time Patreon.
I know.
And this is the first time. This is the first time I've called you.
Cool. Absolutely cool.
Oh, so, okay, the whole CM Punk thing, everybody's going crazy about it. Here's the thing. He comes back and he looks frail. He looks skinny. He doesn't change his look. Now he's got a little bit of gray in his beard. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that could care less, but I think the guy is kind of a dillweed anyway. He's kind of proven how maniac, egotistical he is. I mean, God forbid you say anything bad about the guy. If he hears this, he might block me, but what? I mean, who cares? Really? I mean, this guy's made a fool of himself in UFC.
Well, you know, he tried. I mean, I'll give him that. He tried. You know, I mean, it didn't work out. You know, at least he didn't overstay his welcome. I think he got the message pretty quickly that he wasn't going to make it in UFC. You know, look, I have been blocked from CM Punk for a very long time. And the reason being is because back in the day, you know, it's just, I understand, you know, how bitter he was, and I don't blame him being bitter with WWE because they totally misdiagnosed his health condition. But, you know, it's true what you said. There's a lot of video where he goes to house shows and people are heckling him, and he's using a lot of words that, you know, that not the greatest. CM Punk has always been a douchebag. I think everybody out there that loves CM Punk will admit it also. He is a douchebag. But honestly, you know, I give him credit that he doesn't hide it, that he will tell people, yeah, I'm a douchebag and I go, you know, how I roll. I think, though, as he's gotten older, He's married now, and from people that I talk to, he has mellowed out quite a bit. That he is now, starting to. It's not just because of Tony Khan's money, but he truly does now miss wrestling, something that he didn't miss for a while. And yes, he looks smaller, and the wrinkles are a little bit more, but it happens to everybody. I'm gonna go the same route I went with Sting. CM Punk is obviously much younger, but I'm gonna wait and see him in the ring with Darby Allin, and I'm gonna wait and see if CM Punk is going to go at the level of what Darby Allin does, or if Darby Allin has to pull back quite a bit to go along with CM Punk. Once I see him in the ring against Darby Allin, that'll give me a better idea as far as how he is right now. But, there's no question he might be a douchebag, but he's one of the more talented douchebags out there. So if he could still go, CM Punk wrestling to me is better than CM Punk not wrestling.
Right. And here's the thing. He just didn't. I guess I'd be more excited if he would have came in with a different look. He looks like he hasn't been working out. Nothing. He's very skinny. He's very small, and I'm kind of tired. You don't have to look like Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior. It's not about that, but it's like you got to have some sort of size. He just looks like just a fan came in, and it's like, what have you been doing this entire time? What have you haven't been working out, doing nothing? You steal what looks like just the same stupid, throwing up the X's, the same logo. It's like you didn't come in with a different hairstyle.
Well,
something. You just look the same. What have you been doing for the last 7 years?
I know, but you know what? When Hogan came back, they wanted either the Hollywood Hogan or the red and yellow. When Edge came back, looks almost the same. A lot of wrestlers, if people, if it's not broken, you don't fix it. So, they came back with a look that everybody identifies with. So there is a nostalgia factor to it. CM Punk does look smaller, but when he takes his shirt off, I mean, that is really going to tell, as far as how he looks physically. But then again, in this day and age, you have wrestlers who are smaller in size. I mean, I'm just going to wait and see. And then, if there's obvious, and there's no reason why he can't bulk up a little bit. He's not going to do it in 2 weeks, but there's no reason why he can't start working out and putting some weights on and maybe put on 5-10 pounds. Maybe he needed to get a little bit lighter to keep the speed. He's getting, older, so maybe he's a couple of seconds slower now, and maybe he feels being 10 pounds lighter might allow him to still, be at a level he was before. I don't know. I'm going to see what he does in the ring, and then I'll decide from there how I feel about it.
Yeah, I just think, I wasn't missing him. I really enjoyed the Straight Edge Society stuff. I really did. I enjoyed, when he had the chest hair and the beard, the long hair. It was like, man, there was a time where I was a big fan of him. And, I'm from Illinois. I'm not from Chicago, God forbid. But, no, I really enjoyed CM Punk at a certain time frame. Then it just became like, oh, this guy's kind of he's a douche. He's a guy I would never go up to in person just because I know the horror stories. Yeah. He's just two CM Punks in the same room wouldn't even like each other. But it's like, come in with a different look. This look was like a balloon that had no air in it. It's like, oh my God, I'm bigger than the dude.
Well, I mean, down the line, who knows? He may start growing the beard. He may do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think when he first came into ECW, WWE's ECW, he looked very similar to what he was in Ring of Honor. And, he tweaked his character, and WWE allowed it to tweak, and he did the Straight Edge Society. That could come back down the line. Just right now, I think people just wanted the most recognizable CM Punk, so they feel like this is the 2007 CM Punk, 2010 CM Punk. I think that's why they did it. But, I'm going to wait and see how he performs, and then we'll judge it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of over the guy. It's like
not everybody likes CM Punk, and the ratings, it was a decent number, but there weren't hundreds of thousands, or if not a million fans just sitting out there just waiting to see CM Punk back in wrestling. He's good. And you know what? There's a lot of people that are a little skeptical too. So they'll take a wait and see approach. But, I do know a lot of people that could care less that he is back in AEW. When you turn a lot of people off over the years, remember, I mean, he, disowned a lot of his friends. And sure. we weren't his friends, but when people see that and people start disliking someone, it's going to take more than just a return to a promotion to make everybody forget about that. So it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. Because is Colt Cabana, what company is he? He's kind of just a jack of all trades at each company. But what is he at AEW?
Yeah, I said it already. I'm curious to see, sooner or later, I'm sure they're going to have I'm sure they've already had a meet. But, he's in AEW, so they definitely are crossing paths.
Sure. No, definitely. That's all I was wanting to kind of say, because it's just, you see the reaction he had, and it's like, sure, I could see he hasn't been really in wrestling in, 7 years. I get it. He was a big star when he left, but it's like, I don't know, just kind of, he came out, and I'm thinking this was a time to just kind of show something different. Like, man, he's put on some size. Because I know when he was in UFC, he was kind of skinny. Yeah, he lost some of that wrestling weight. And I'm like, man, he needs to come out with like a new look, new hair. Maybe he grows his hair back. No, it's just the same. He just added gray hair to it. That's all he did.
Could also be that's the look Tony Khan wanted.
And it could be, God knows how much money he's getting paid, because I know he shops at Goodwill anyway, so maybe he does save his money, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy's a piece of work.
He definitely is. He's a character. Definitely character.
And he's an egomaniac, but he can sit there and talk, all he wants to you, block you, but you do it to him, it's just like, come on, dude. Yeah. Well, but I appreciate it, DC.
Much love.
And like I said,
nice talking to you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be well. Take care.
Thank you. You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah, I recognize Steve's name. He's a long time Patreon. So, look, not everybody is a fan of CM Punk. Like I said, CM Punk in wrestling is better than CM Punk outside of wrestling. And, I saw your super chat, so I recognize the area code. I think this is Bob.
Yes, this is Bob the Builder. How are you?
What's up? What's going on?
I'm good. How are you, man?
All right.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, same here. What's on your mind?
So I just wanted to say the previous caller. I don't know. It's kind of weird. He was kind of obsessed with CM Punk's look. I think this is good for the wrestling business. That's why I love listening to you, Tony, because you are not biased. You know what I mean? Like, you're straight down the middle. If something is bad in AEW, you'll say it. If something is good, you'll say it. That's why I don't listen to other podcasters. I feel like they're mostly biased with their work, and it's like, I like you. You're just very straight down the middle.
I'm biased, but I also try to be very level-headed about it. There's some people that I'm friendly with in wrestling, and sure, I could sit here and make them seem like, they're God Almighty, but, that doesn't help them at all, and it doesn't get me any brownie points either. I think some people out there just appreciate people who are straight up brutally honest, even if a little criticism is needed. As far as CM Punk in a straight edge society, that was a character and a storyline that you wouldn't normally see in WWE. And, I don't want to say early Bray Wyatt might have fallen into that cult-like, character too, but, something like that seemed a little bit edgy in WWE, and a lot of people liked it, and a lot of people felt that it ended a little bit too soon. The thing is, whenever people out there talk about CM Punk or when they would post wallpaper or they would whatever, I mean, 9 times out of 10, the look that you see now with CM Punk is the look that everybody always goes to. So, but I totally understand why some people really were into the straight edge society stuff. Some people loved, you know, some of the stuff he did in Ring of Honor. Some of the people, you know, it's just, there's versions of CM Punk that have a nice cult following too. I don't know if Tony Khan will allow all those variations. And obviously if he does do a variation, they can't call it the straight edge society. I think WWE owns trademark to that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, but I just want to say one thing. Like, I noticed, like, whenever I'm on Twitter and online, just this past week, there's obviously some great news about CM Punk, but like, there's a lot of like haters. Like, CM Punk, I believe, has his haters. He's a douchebag. He's an asshole. But like, I just wanted to ask you this: like, people underestimate how popular CM Punk is. Like, okay, other than Roman Reigns, let's just say the past 9 years, who's been more popular than CM Punk? Who's like a bigger name than CM Punk? Obviously, we're going to leave like the Cenas, the Ortons, the guys that came before him, but like there's nobody that's bigger than CM Punk, you can say. Am I wrong in saying that?
At one point, no, I absolutely agree with you. I think the reason why a lot of people like CM Punk, besides the wrestling and the character, is, you know, there's not too many wrestlers out there that people feel like they can relate to. You know, we're in a more snowflake society. You know, like it's not like straight edge society, you know, is cool and everything, but we're in a snowflake society. And I think a lot of people, you know, like almost live vicariously through some of the wrestling characters. That's why Roman Reigns is such a badass and carrying cross and this and that. And it's like, you know, they're playing characters on TV. So, you know, some of the, did we lose him? I think we lost Bob. So no, he's right on what he's saying. But the thing is, I think a lot of fans out there feel like they can relate to CM Punk more. Obviously, CM Punk is much higher on the level than us. But the point is that if something pisses off CM Punk, he's not going to go along with corporate. Like, I don't agree with the stuff he said about The Miz. All Miz did was crack a little joke on that Fox show with Renee Young and others, and CM Punk totally flipped out. I mean, he literally melted down. And, you know, some people like the fact that CM Punk will call people out and not keep his mouth shut. So, I don't know. I mean, look, I look at the Punk situation, and I think we're going to end it here because we end up taking about 45 minutes of calls. But I'll say this about the CM Punk stuff. I'm just looking at it as a wrestling fan. CM Punk in a wrestling ring was always excellent. You know what I mean? He was always good. I mean, there was points where CM Punk, you look at his matches and some of them were all the same. But that's also because of the opponents he had. I want to see what level of CM Punk we are going to get. One thing I will say, and when I brought up Sting earlier, I'm not comparing Sting's career to CM Punk's career or vice versa. What I'm saying is that Sting came back, and a lot of people said he got seriously injured from Seth Rollins, and he's crazy, and this and that, and it's bullshit. And I said, look, Sting, his entire career, never embarrassed me in the ring. Never embarrassed himself in the ring. I think Sting trusts his body and knows his body better than anybody else other than his doctors. So I take a wait-and-see approach, and they have used Sting, I think, as good as they possibly can. And they knew what they were getting with Sting. With CM Punk, yes, he's a little lighter. Yes, he's a little older. Yes, he's a little grayer. But that happens to everybody. You know, that's what happens when you get older. So I look at CM Punk's career, Ring of Honor, NWA, TNA, WWE, some other promotions. I worked the show at CM Punk. Yes, I actually worked the show at CM Punk. I got to whip out the DVD. I don't know if it was the X-Lax night, but the first Chris Candido Memorial show, he was on it. So CM Punk, I look at his entire career that I watched, and honestly, other than him being frustrated with WWE and going through the motions towards the very end of his WWE run, you know, like, he's always entertained. Whether he's a douchebag or not, he's always given a lot of effort in the ring. So I give him that returning now. I'll wait and see what he does with Darby Allin. You know, we'll see if it's, you know, it's a big deal. Does CM Punk bring himself up to the level of Darby Allin with the speed and some of the offense and the defense, or does Darby Allin have to bring it down a notch to work with CM Punk? You know, and look, if there's a happy medium, then good. So I think the bottom line is, I'm a wrestling fan. CM Punk in a wrestling ring. Maybe that's a better way to put it. CM Punk inside a wrestling ring is better than CM Punk not in a wrestling ring. So I'm going to take a wait and see approach. I'm going to be a wrestling fan. If I don't like CM Punk, then I'm not going to rip the people that do. That's the problem I have on social media. There is a shitload of people that absolutely love CM Punk and are ecstatic that he's back. Just because some people out there don't like him doesn't mean, you know, you should crack jokes or make fun of the people that do. So, because like I said yesterday, you know, there's a lot of people out there that love other wrestlers in wrestling. And when people start dissing their favorites, you see how fast they get triggered. So, anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. Great show. Now, tomorrow it's going to be a little easier. Tomorrow from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., I will do a watch-along of AEW Rampage. Now, since we have no CM Punk debut, now since we have no hype as with the first Rampage, now tomorrow's Rampage is going to be a lot more in tune of what Rampage is supposed to be about. So we'll have Ty Conti versus the Bunny. We got Omega teaming up with Cutler, you know, against Christian and Kazarian. We got Jurassic Express, I believe, versus the Lucha Bros, which is, you know, that's going to steal the show. That should be the main event, in my opinion. And 3 or 4 matches, tops, 1 hour. After that is over, for the next 30 minutes after, we'll talk about SmackDown. We'll see what happens with Becky Lynch and Bianca. We'll see, you know, if there's any update on Sasha. We'll see the progression of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. That's what's on the agenda tomorrow. So first hour, watch along. Last 30 minutes afterwards, we'll talk SmackDown, and then we're done. So much love, everybody. Wow, a lot of people smashing the like button tonight. I love it. I love it. Very cool. I hope you enjoyed the growing up Don Tony stuff earlier. I wasn't even the name Don Tony yet. I didn't even have Tony Cannoli. It was just regular Anthony DeBlasi. So, memories, man. Great memories. They can never take it away from us. So, anyway, I am out of here. Thank you, everyone, for another wonderful show. It's been a fun week. It's been a fun 10 days, especially. You think back to 1 week ago, and we were anticipating SummerSlam. We were anticipating CM Punk's debut on Rampage. We were anticipating a bunch of things. It's amazing that it's not even 7 days yet. So everyone have a great night. Much love. And I will see you tomorrow, 10 p.m. Rampage Watch Along. Be there. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright, he's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.